Estoy con balón en córner. Ahí hay otro delante de mí. ¿Falta uno aquí? Vale, niño. Sí.
Vale, Sergio. Va pidiendo 12 metros, 10, 8.
Iván.
Tomás aquí.
Voy.
Temporita, Iván. Temporita.
Voy.
Aguanta, niño, aguanta. Yo sé directo. Eso es 11, 9, 7, pego. Buena.
When you receive it there, boy,
Vale, Iván. 8 y pego.
drift middle, that's the spaces and then go wide.
Temporita, voy. Javi, directo, Javi,
Or
directo.
go up 60% into the middle, then turn the gas on.
Vale, voy. Tienes y pego.
Voy.
Estoy yo y pego.
Voy.
Vale, que lo pego todo.
Bola.
Vale, niño. El 10.
Bola. Una bola.
Javi, bola. Vale, Pepe. En 12, 10, 8 y pego.
Niño, ven aquí.
Vale, Sergio.
Toma, bebe agua.
Iván.
Tiro. Muy potente. Temporita, Iván.
A la mar, toma agua. Ven aquí. Bebe un poquito. Cuidado.
Perdona.
Iván, vete viniendo.
¡Voy!
Potencia. 18. Vale, Pepe. Viene fuerte.
Iván, ven aquí.
Play.
Te doy agua.
Voy. ¿Quién pide? Yeah, trying to stop. Stop.
Voy aquí. Voy aquí.
Right, yes, boy. Yep. Come in, yeah.
Eso es, vienes de 12, 9, 7, centrado y pego.
Run. ¿Dónde hay bola?
Balón delante.
Iván.
On a different angle, Brandy.
Iván.
Arranca el turbo. En alto, 7, pego.
Iván.
Vale, Iván, pego.
¿Cambiamos de banda? Javi. Pelu. Sal tú, Pelu, que estás delante.
Uno quiere agua, yo tengo.
Vale, Josep, te viene. 12 metros, primer palo. 10, 8. Buena. Vale, voy. Viene, 10, 8 y pego.
Si queréis más agua, tengo yo.
Vamos,
¿Vale?
Pepe. 12 metros, primer palo. Viene, 10, centrado y pego. Yes, run. Primer palo, pego.
Man, go keep talking to you. Yeah.
Vale, Javi, te vienes en 10, primer palo, quito.
Te voy.
Vale, quito, 11 metros.
Javi. No, estoy atrás. Pito.
Vale, Josep. Venga, te va pidiendo, con portería, en 8, 7, pego.
Gana. Tráete un banderín que hay en el lateral de la mochila.
9, 7 y pego. Buena, Pedro. Vale, Pepe, temporita, niño. Vienes centrado en 11, 9, 7 y pego.
Pensaba que me ibas a hablar.
Toma. Centrado, clarito, ya. Buena.
Pelu.
A la mar, temporita. Vente, a la mar, vente.
Javi, balón. Te llega, Javi.
Vale. Busca ahí. Vale, Javi, te vienes. 11 metros, 9, 7. Buen tiro. Vale, vas. Te vienes centrado en 11 metros. Vale, buena mano. Pito. Punto centro. Esto es 10 metros, 8 y pego. Buena. Voy, tienes centrado en 8 y pego. Buena, voy. Queda 2. Vale, Josep. Te vienes directo en 10 metros, bien palo.
Estoy, Pito.
Buena ronda, va.
¿No está aquí, Pito? Sí. Dame la bola. Le digo bien.
Tienes 15 metros. Venga, estás en 12, 10, 8 y pego.
Venga, nos vamos a 12 metros.
Estoy. Vete, me he quedado aquí. Estoy yo, ya, Javi. Va.
Vale, ojo. 7 metros, primer palo, centro, cuidado que no, y pego. 6 metros,
Estoy.
y pego. Vale, Pepe, 6. Viene 7, primer palo, en 8 central, pego. Push out, catch, push out. Bola, vamos portero, vamos portero.
Javi.
6 metros, primer palo, y pego. Vamos, 6 metros, primer palo. Salgo 8, sentado, cruzo. Vale, niño, 8 metros, primer palo.
Estoy, Fito. Estoy, Fito. Va. 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 Sal. Sal. Sal.
A la mar tú. Memoriza, Fito. Vale, 8 metros, centrado, pego. Vale, Fito. 7 metros, primer palo, me salgo 8 y pego.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the IBSA Blind Football European Championships coverage here in Berlin. First of our two semi-finals here today. It's England against Spain. Good afternoon to you wherever you are in the world watching this coverage of the IBSA Blind Football European Championships 2017. My name's Alan March. Alongside me is one of our match day commentators, Peter Selby. Peter, I think we're in for an absolute cracker in this first semi-final.
Yep, I can't wait. You've got a team who's been scoring plenty of goals, unbeaten, won all of their games so far, and that's England against Spain. Again, they've not lost. They've got credentials, one of the best teams in the world. And I think we've got two corking semi-finals, but especially this first one.
If people have tuned in expecting a hatful of goals in this first one, that might not be the case. England haven't conceded, and Spain have conceded just the one. But there's firepower in both teams.
There is. England scored plenty of goals to get here, and the last time these two teams played each other was back in 2015 in the European Championships in a fourth place playoff. Now, that was 0-0, and then Spain won on penalties. Plenty of games in knockout stage blind football ending 0-0. I don't think that's going to happen today, mainly because of the new rules, meaning the goals are bigger, 66 centimetres wider, 33 centimetres higher, and that's been brought in to get rid of these 0-0s in knockout stage football. England have been scoring plenty of goals. They've got firepower all over the field, but then again, so has Spain.
No extra time in the knockout phases of this tournament. It is indeed straight to penalties with those bigger goals, although we have seen a rather large amount of missed penalties in this competition already. Now let's take a look at the group standings for both A and B, and let's see how these two teams got to where they are. England absolutely dominant in their group, victories over everybody in there, and not a single goal conceded. Plus 22 in that goal scoring column. 7 points for France. They sneaked through on the final day. England's victory over Germany, meaning that Germany can only play for 5th place. However, that 5th place game tomorrow, very important, as it now becomes a World Cup qualifying match against Turkey as well. Now let's take a look at Group B. England will play Spain. They were the team that came second, and again you can see it was fairly close. 10 points for Russia, just the one draw for them. Spain, 2 wins, 2 draws, a 0-0 and a 1-1 against Turkey. Let's see how the two teams have gone in their individual games.
Yeah, England scoring plenty. 6-0 against the whipping boys of Group A, Romania, and then a really cracking 7-0 win against France. Demolished the Italians 6-0, and then that really good 3-0 win against a resurgent Germany. Plenty of changes for England in the starting lineup of that game, and that just shows you how well they're playing. Spain, An 8-0 win against Georgia, a 4-0 win against Belgium expected, and then those 2 draws against Russia 0-0, 1-1 against Turkey, 2 of the top teams in the tournament, and they go through again unbeaten.
Now, England scored 6, 7, 6, and then 3, and that's not because they perhaps weren't trying as hard as they had in the other games. There were a few changes in the lineup against Germany, and it felt like England already knew that they were through. They were. It was only Germany that desperately needed to win that game, or at least to take a draw. And England did indeed make a few changes. Dylan Malpass can be unlucky not to start here, but goalkeeper Dan James, who also hadn't conceded a single goal in his 3 games, is back in the starting lineup. So too is Roy Turnham, who we felt went down injured yesterday in his game. He seems okay.
Yeah, Roy Turnham took a tumble and he injured his hand, and he got up and went straight off, got it taped up, actually came back on, so he'll be eligible to play, so he'll be wearing a bandage a la Jamie Vardy or Gary Lineker for the older viewers. Kieran Seal, Dan English, Brandon Coleman, Roy Turnham. I would say it's the strongest lineup, but look at the bench. Robin Williams, one of the star men for England, is only on the bench. He will make an appearance, and he'll make an appearance in the first half. Darren Harris and Nathan Edge as well. It's a strong England team, strong England bench, and that includes the goalkeeper, like you mentioned, Malpass, who's unfortunate not to get the starting lineup.
Now, we talk about a few surprises maybe in that England lineup. Martin and Acosta, the biggest 2 goal scorers for Spain. 5 for Martin, Acosta has 4. They both start from the bench. We think Acosta has got an injury.
Yeah, Acosta went off, and it's question marks about him, although we've been paying close attention to him in the warm-up. He looks like he's fine, but he's going to start on the bench. Interesting that Martin's on the bench, and Javier Munoz is in the starting lineup. That, for me, means that Spain are going to be quite defensive early on, maybe just ride the English storm that's going to come straight at them, and then maybe bring the likes of Acosta and Martin onto the field.
Let's take a look at those goal scorers, shall we? Hassan Satai is going to need some catching if he's not going to win the Golden Boot for this competition. Igorov and Williams have 6 apiece. Shalaev, Turnham, Coleman and English, along with Antonio Martin of Spain, all having 5 goals. Another interesting one for Russia as well. Igorov seemed to injure his foot in the final game. So a few injuries as this tournament rumbles on. Once you've played 3-4 games, the knocks start to hurt just that little bit more.
Yeah, we mentioned the fact that England have got a really strong all-round team. You've got the likes of, like I said, English, Coleman, Turnham and Williams, all with 5 or 6 goals. And that just shows you that the goals have been spread around. Everyone can score for England, even players coming off the bench. And when you look at the likes of Turkey, who were playing in that 5th place playoff game, they do rely on the goals from Satai. And referring to Spain, their top goal scorer is Martin, who will start on the bench.
So here you go. Look at this. Russia have the most shots on target. It was really interesting. They got off to a slowish start, 20 and 23. Then they soon racked up the shots on target in the following 2 games after that. They got 105. England have been peppering the goal for triple figures as well during this tournament. Spain down on 89. There's not too much difference between the two there. England did get off to a big start against Romania as well, with a 43 shots on target. They allowed Germany to have a lot of possession yesterday, Pete. They allowed Germany to get a lot more shots in. They were very, very comfortable with what some would say was a very much changed side.
Yeah, really good performance there by Germany. Surprising, they're 3rd in that table actually. Not qualified for the semi-finals, which means they've had their got their shooting boots on, but not good enough to beat the goalkeepers here. And of course they're in a group with England, the likes of Dan James and Malpass in goal. And well, looking towards Spain, it looks like they take their chances. So England will need to keep a close watch on their players, especially, like I said, the goalkeeper. And not just the goalkeeper in terms of saving the ball from a shot, in terms of marshalling the defence, because of course they are the eyes of the defenders, marshalling them in that final third, make sure they're all lined up. But with England, they are one of the most professional teams here, and they really do move the players around in formation. One goes forward, other people do come back and cover.
Okay, let's take a look at the playoffs. So it's England, Spain, France versus Russia. Come back tomorrow as well for the 9th, 7th and 5th place playoff games. Romania, Georgia, Italy, Belgium, Germany, Turkey. Okay, let's take a look at some of the goals that have got our teams into this first semi-final, shall we? This was England against Germany, and some of the clinical finishing that we've seen throughout this tournament for England.
Yeah, that's Brandon Coleman there, who there's plenty of people in the crowd. There was a big sigh really because Germany needed to get a draw or a win in this game, and a remarkable piece of play there where a German free kick hits the post, then hits Dylan Malpass in the face and somehow stays out the net.
England riding their luck at times, but they've been clinical in the outfield. They missed chances yesterday. They won't want to do that too often.
Yeah, that was a controversial moment in the game where England were awarded the penalty. It didn't come to anything, but it was awarded for goalkeeper touching the ball outside of his goalkeeping square. These are the saves by Dylan Malpass that kept England in the game.
Spain's ride to this point of the competition has been 2 wins, 2 draws, and Hassan Satai was a danger man all the way through that game last night. It was a tense game. There was a lot of Turkish spectators here in Germany, and Satai got himself up to 11 in the goal scoring charts in that game. They celebrated long and hard in Turkey. They thought they were going through, but Spain, it was that eventually got an equaliser and got through to this semi-final stage.
Yeah, Turkey needed 3 points. Spain just needed the draw. And Spain got, again, peppered the Turkish goal, got back into it in the second half. A really good display.
Right, this is it. It's semi-final time. Peter hot-foots it back over to the commentary position. As you see on your screens at home, the 2 teams being led out by their goalkeepers. It is England against Spain in the IBSA Blind Football European Championships. Here's your commentary team. It's Jonathan Bell and Peter Selby.
Thank you very much, Alan. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Berlin, the German capital, absolutely buzzing with excitement ahead of this one. England against Spain, 2 teams that both made it into the semi-finals of Euro 2015. They both missed out on a finalist spot that time around. One of them will make it tonight. England in their white shirts, white shorts and white socks just to the left of the halfway line at the moment, with Dan James, their goalkeeper, in luminous green long sleeve shirt, black shorts and luminous green socks. Spain in their traditional red shirts, navy blue shorts and red socks as well, with their goalkeeper Pedro Gutierrez in the light blue shirts, the dark blue sleeves, black shorts and light blue socks. Both nations expectant. One team will miss out. Here's the national anthems.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen, God save our Queen. 7 victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save our Queen. Come on
The roar of the England team evident to hear here, and it's a pretty breezy Berlin here today as well. The wind has certainly been in England's sails coming into this one, capping off a 100% record in the group stages with another flawless success against Germany yesterday. This is how the England team line up today for this one. Dan James, as Alan already mentioned, manages to get a starting berth just ahead of Dylan Milpass, who had an inspired game in the England goal yesterday in that win against the home nation. Roy Turnham is fit, he starts up front, 5 goals to his name in this tournament so far. Brandon Coleman and Daniel English both start and are also in the 5-goal bracket. As for Spain, Pedro Gutierrez starts in goal for them, with Sergio Alomar starting and the starting 5 alongside his captain Yusuf Al-Hadawi. 3 goals in this tournament so far for the Spanish skipper. He will be vital for the Spaniards in order to make them tick and succeed against England today. In terms of the officials, they're dressed in their light green shirts, black shorts and black socks, and Francois Coquet is the main official just on the left of the 2 on your screen, alongside Boulan Kimyon, and the 2 dugout officials as well, Alexandros Champis and Dustin Veneman. Of course, Pete, with semi-finals in any competition, it's absolutely crucial that you get things right as an official, and we've certainly got some of the best in the business here this afternoon.
Yeah, it's a new rota for the officials, and they're starting their plans for the Paralympic Games in 2020 in Tokyo, and 2 of the top officials for this game. I know Francois Coquin actually quite well. He's one of the best officials, not only in Europe, but in the world. What a match we've got here. England against Spain. And if you were watching our pre-game show, myself and Mark's discussing the 2 teams, and we were talking about Alfredo Acosta and the fact that he's not in the starting 5, and what that will mean for Spain, and the fact that Munoz is in there, a player I know that you like, Jonathan, all action, no nonsense player, and I am presuming it's because they're going to try and ride out the wave after wave of early England attack. Anyway, let's head over and hear the coin toss.
¿Campo o bola o pelota? Ellos se quedan ahí, sacamos.
Stay here. The board. Okay. That's it.
So it will be a Spanish kick to start this one off. Daniel English winning the toss, the England captain, and elects to start within the half that England already are. England on the left of your screen to start this game in their all-white strip. Their manager, John Pugh, there just on the right of your screen with the glasses. He said that after semi-final defeat in 2015 in Hereford, that England had the defensive capability, the offensive capability, but they lacked the psychological edge. But there is something different about this English team this time around. As for Spain, they are looking to get past their disappointment of not making the finals 2 years ago in Great Britain, and buoyed by their placing at the Paralympics in 2016 in Rio. They certainly come into this one with a lot of confidence and hope that they can build on the scrape draw last night against Turkey and get this win against England. Both teams coming into this with 100% records, no defeats against either side's name, and it's also the team with the most team fouls against the team with the least. England recorded 32 in the group stages, the highest out of all 10 taking part in these championships. Spain conceding just the 13 in their 4 group stage matches. Spain will be kicking off from right to left then in their red shirts, navy blue shorts and red socks. Stood over the ball is the captain, Yusuf Al-Hadawi, the very leggy figure, and just behind him is the much shorter Javier Munoz, the one who will start right in the centre-back position for Spain once this game gets underway. Both teams favour the diamond formation, with one at the back, one at the tip. As for England, Roy Turnham is at the tip for them, with anchoring at the back, Karen Seal, the big number 4. The officials just going across to the 2 sets of coaches to shake their hands. Francois Coquet just making friends there with John Pugh, the England coach. We've already spoken about him. Miguel Angel Becerra is the man on your screen there, the Spanish coach in the white shirt and black tracksuit bottoms, and he actually played as a substitute goalkeeper for Spain in their 4-0 win against Belgium in the group stages. So we are almost ready to go on semi-finals day here in Berlin. This is when squeaky bum time certainly comes to the fore. Spain against England. Will it be the Three Lions, or will it be Miguel Angel Becerra's men? The referee just making sure that Sergio Alomar is inside his own half, just a foot or so over. He's back in his own half, and we are good to go now. And El Hadawi immediately striding down the right-hand side. Tackle comes in from Brandon Coleman, and England's physical presence already coming to the fore there. A free kick on the edge of the broken line, and John Pugh with an early decision that he's pretty disgruntled with, for a straightforward one for the referee.
Yeah, England committed the most amounts of fouls in the group stages, and they've got off on the same foot here. A free kick to Spain just on that broken line. Now the broken line signifies the 3/3 of the field, so an attacking third midfield and a defensive third for either side. Spain in the red shirts, blue shorts and red socks. England all in whites. England shooting from left to right from our position, and Spain from right to left. Now Dan James in goal for England. He'll be telling these players exactly where to stand for this free kick. It's going to be rolled forward for the Spanish captain, number 10. That's Yusuf El Hadawi, the Spanish coach behind the goal, now tapping the posts. And he'll roll that size 4 football for El Hadawi. So just one size smaller than your usual size 5 football for your 11-a-side game. Makes the sound of a baby's rattle. Shot by El Hadawi straight into the midriff of Dan James. An early sighter there for Dan James in goal, and well held. Rolls it out to Karen Seal, who anchor the side. He's got Dan English to his right, and he finds English inside his own half by the kickboard, which is on the right and the left-hand side of the fields. And they're slightly angled away from the players, just to give them, you can see a really good view there if you're watching the live stream, just to give them a bit of a cushion if they do run into him, instead of being 90 degrees. Down the right for Spain, and Brandon Coleman inadvertently back heels over his own goal line. It will be a Spanish corner from the right. So yes, the ball bearings inside the football, they're in a kind of a UFO-shaped tin disc, and it's put on the inside of the football, and it makes a rattle sound. And I say it's like a baby's rattle. That's the nearest that I can tell, and that's why there's silence throughout the stadium, because the players will need to find out where the ball is, and they followed the sound. And also the players will need to shout "voy," which rough translation means "I am here," and if they don't shout it, then it will be a foul. El Hadawi from distance takes a deflection into the arms again of Dan James. Yes, if you don't shout "voy" and you run into a player, you've given away a foul. There will be collisions, as you would expect. Long clearance for England down the left, trying to find number 9, Roy Turnham, on the left edge of the D, now towards the centre. Shot on goal by Turnham, and he opens the scoring for England. England's magic number 9, Roy Turnham, from inside the D, slightly to the left, a right-footed shot past the goalkeeper, and England have started the semi-finals like they started and finished the group stages. They go 1-0 in front in the first few minutes.
One word you have to describe England as is clinical. Their first attack in this game in the first couple of moments, and they get a goal. Roy Turnham actually had 30 shots in his first 3 games in the group stages. Once again, he manages to find the target, and it hits the back of the net past Pedro Gutierrez, down at his near post from close range. Super start for England. Roy Turnham's 6th of the tournament, and England's first of this semi-final. El Hadawi on the right-hand side. He's had a lot of the ball so far, the Spanish captain. He's already had a couple of shots at Dan James's goal, but he finds his team behind. Comes over the halfway line, 3 defenders to beat. Turnham's back there, deflects into the path of El Hadawi. So Seal has to come across on the left corner of the area and just divert the ball behind for a Spain corner. And one thing as well, England with not just a 1 goal but 1 X under their name. It's not a game of Britain's Got Talent. It is purely because it's a team foul against England earlier on, conceded by Brandon Coleman. You're allowed 5 before you concede an 8-metre penalty. If you concede a regular penalty in the area, it's a 6-metre spot kick right from the edge, but an 8-metre spot kick, a couple of metres behind it, just in between the broken line and the edge of the area. So a Spain corner, far side there right. El Hadawi with it, comes back towards the broken line. Seal with a crunching challenge and a good big right foot in there as well. England and Seal trying to get down the left-hand side, but it's Munoz coming away with possession. He's the furthest man up front for Spain, and he's on the left. Turnham's in his back. Munoz turns away from him, gets towards the broken line. Turnham's not giving that one up. Great strength from the England man, and there's certainly no injury bothering Roy Turnham. He's still got the left bandage on his left hand, but he's getting in towards every tackle possible. Coleman on the left-hand side, midway inside the Spain half. He's got El Hadaoui in his back. Coleman momentarily fell on the ball. El Hadaoui then got a left foot in, got back and goes over halfway, clatters into English, gets past him momentarily, and once again it's Coleman who backheels it behind, and it will be another Spain corner. And they've certainly had the territorial advantage so far in this game, Pete, but they trail by 1-0.
Yeah, we said pre-game whether Munoz is on just to shore things up at the start. Well, that tactic's not worked at all. England taking the early lead. Yes, she allowed 5 team fouls in one half. They do get wiped out for the second half, and England currently have 1. And like I said, any more than 5 will result in those 8-metre penalty kicks. Any questions, you can send them to us via Twitter at Euro 2017 Berlin is the Twitter handle. And any questions, just use the hashtag #TheSoundOfFootball. Hashtag #TheSoundOfFootball. Any questions about the players, the teams, the rules? And we'll try our best to go through the rules as we go through the early stages of this game. Lopez into the D, and it's just cleared back out for where it came from, and it will be another Spain corner. There's going to be a substitution early on for Spain, and on comes Martin. And now, in the pre-game discussion with Alan March, we did say about Martin being on the bench and then maybe coming on if things are tight. Well, he's coming on to try and rescue the situation at the moment. Comes on for Alamar, so 7 Alamar replaced by number 9 Martin, who has 5 goals to his name. Talking about the goals have been extended in blind football. They are now 66 centimetres wider, 33 centimetres higher, an awful lot bigger, which means more goals. Plenty of semi-finals and quarter-final stages of competitions have ended in 0-0 in recent years. Certainly not 0-0 here today. Good tackle by Seal up to the halfway line. Munoz is back and gets her left foot on the ball, and is forcing Karen Seal, who's much the taller of the two, out wide just in front of the officials' tent. Back and onto the ground goes Karen Seal. Free kick given against Munoz, and the England coach John Pugh there just separating the two players. And it will be an England free kick just inside their own half, again in front of the officials' tent. When a decision is made, then the referee does come to the halfway line and then tells the officials' bench exactly what for, and then they'll signify how many team fouls, etc. has been given. So that's the first to Spain, and again you can see the red X just put below the Spanish flag on your screens. Here goes Turnham down the left, another turn of pace. Now he's running central towards the edge of the D. Right-footed shots blocked by Munoz, and Turnham tries to get back and tackle Martin, who's trying to do the same, but he just overruns the ball in the centre circle. Now coming forward once again is Coleman. He's got Turnham to his right, but he goes himself, stumbles at the first tackle by El Hadaoui. No free kick given, and Spain are by their own left corner. Coleman's trying to win the ball back for England. Spain just try and clear it out, and they've inadvertently passed it to Roy Turnham, who scored the opening goal. On the right now, Turnham, past that broken line, so he's in the final third, looking out for the touchboard on the near right-hand side, grabs it, now drifts over to the centre to start his run once again, trying to turn one way or the other. Can't go between two Spanish players. A missed kick by Munoz, and the goalkeeper's going to shout, just leave it. He's going to run into his goalkeeping square. He can't come out of that goalkeeping square, by the way. If he does and handles the ball, or even touches the ball, it will be an England penalty. So the goalkeeper's more than just a keeper. They are acting as the eyes of the defence. Here goes Martin, who goes to ground just outside the England D, and it's going to be a free kick. That's good officiating there by Francois Coquin, because he gave Martin the benefit of the doubt. He gave him a chance to get to his feet and then continue his run. But across came an England defender to clear, and he goes back for the original foul, and it'll be another free kick to Spain, this time from roughly 10 metres from goal, again to the left of centre. And that's the second team foul for England, who are 1-0 up in the early stages. There's 20 minutes each way, so 20 minutes for each half. Now the time does stop for every infringement, so if it goes out of play for a corner, or the referee makes a decision, or for whatever reason the game is stopped, the time stops as well, so it can take a lot longer than 20 minutes. So this free kick for Spain. 4 men in the England wall. Dan James just making sure they are all level. And once again the coach for Spain will then tap the posts behind the goal and then shout instructions. Lopez is actually standing in the wall, the giant number 4. El Hadaoui is on the right of the D. Whether they're going to play the ball to El Hadaoui or not, it's going to be Martin who's going to receive the ball. Normally get a player just behind the actual taker of the free kick, just to roll it forward, and then maybe a strike at goal by Martin. He can either strike or maybe move it to a more central position. He can actually hit it with his left foot if he wants to go wide. Here goes Matan, right-footed, wide of the right-hand uprights. I think Dan James might have had it covered anyway, but a good effort on goal by the Spanish number 9. But the score remains in the early stages of this first semi-final. England 1, Spain 0.
England, it has to be said, have been predominantly in their own half in this game so far, but they do lead by a goal to nil. Pretty much the same sort of storyline at the moment as the game against Germany yesterday. Munoz coming towards halfway, angles a low ball towards the left-hand side for Martin to run onto. Just gets there ahead of English, but English, with the red captain's armband around his left arm, comes away with the ball over halfway. He's the furthest man forward for England, the only one in the Spain half. He's got 3 red shirts around him, English. Just diverts slightly towards the left-hand side laterally at the moment. Lopez in his back, that's a really good battle between those two. English coming out on top, though. He's forced against the kickboard on the far side. El Hadaoui trying to clamber around him and win possession back. The third attempt is won by Spain with Munoz on the right corner of his own area. He runs down the right-hand side into unfamiliar territory as far as he's concerned, and Coleman wins possession on the left. England with everyone inside their own half, and Coleman now on the ball, sort of shouting where the options are. Turnham begins to run on the left, but Coleman goes down the right instead, then angles the ball towards the far post. A low one for Turnham to run onto. Just has a little bit too much on it in front of Turnham, via a deflection, however, and England will have a corner on their left-hand side. Good bit of work that from Brandon Coleman, who didn't panic when he got the ball in the centre circle. He shouted for an option. Turnham responded by with the run from the left-hand side. Turnham almost received the ball there, but via the Spanish deflection, it goes out for an England corner. On the far side, the England left. Coleman stood behind Turnham. Turnham trying to run around the left side of the area. In a wide arc, gets to a central position. The defenders once again travelling in his wake. The shot comes in from Turnham. He got just as much as Martin shins than he did the ball. It's cleared away by Martin up towards halfway on the England right. English in a bit of a scrum with El Hadaoui at the moment, and Martin's across to the near side as well. English running down the right-hand side, gets to the right side of the area. Can he worm his way into the area? The answer is no, because of a challenge coming in from Munoz, and once again England have another corner here, and that corner count is beginning to be slightly balanced out a bit between the two teams. Of course, Spain starting this game fantastically well, getting themselves quite a few set pieces, but for now it's England who have a bit of territorial danger. On the right-hand side, once again Coleman and Turnham, the only two committed over the halfway line, as Robin Williams is on our screen at the moment, getting ready to come on in a few moments' time. John Pugh just giving him his last few instructions. Interesting about Robin Williams, he's here because he delayed his honeymoon in order to be at these championships, which is some dedication. I'm not sure his wife's happy. Turnham getting towards the front post there on the byline. The ball's deflected over the line by Lopez, and Spain will restart with play.
Yeah, I think you better come home with the winner's trophy. Williams actually is on the bench and he's warming up as we speak. It's with Matan, though, approaching the broken line for Spain in the central area. He's being pushed out wide by Coleman. It's now with the captain El Hadaoui using the right-hand kickboard. Just overruns the ball out of play for an England restart. Dan James, big tall England goalkeeper, can easily carry one of those footballs face down in one hand. I'm pretty sure he could do that with a size 5. Flipped ball forward by English down the left to try and find Turnham. He does find Turnham, edge of the D, turns away from a couple of defenders, goes to ground in the D, nothing given apart from a Spanish goal kick. Long throw quickly downfield to find Matan, who again likes to operate on the left, just like Turnham does for England. Back inside his own third, tries to play it over to the right where El Hadaoui was, but El Hadaoui pushed forward and gives it to Turnham, who's going to start his run from the centre circle. Now he goes down the left, past a couple, just through pace, pushed off the ball by the big Lopez, and that runs out harmlessly for an Spanish goal kick. And John Pugh, the England manager, not happy with that decision, saying, come on, ref. Push Roy Turnham off the ball there. Substitution for Spain. Coming off is the captain, number 10, El Hadaoui, to a polite round of applause by the crowd. And on comes Alfredo Acosta, one of the best players in the tournament. I'm sure Jonathan would agree, with the distinctive white headband on, and there was a question mark over his fitness. He left the field of play in their last group stage game against Turkey, and there's going to be question marks. Didn't start, but we'll find out how he gets on. Here he goes down the right for Spain towards the broken line. Looks like England are going to make a substitution soon, maybe a double substitution as Acosta gets into the D, but can't get a shot off on goal. Keeper was the shout as soon as it rolls into that goalkeeping square. Dan James picks it up, throws it out to the right. Kieran Seal runs straight into Martin. That's one of the worst collisions we've seen. Looks like Seal is okay. He quickly goes over to try and check on Martin, who's on the ground. And we're going to have to wait for the coaches, medical staff to get onto the field of play. Not too sure whether the referee has given infringement for either of the players, whether they both shouted voy. Now both players can shout voy, and then collisions do happen. It's just nature of the game. Voy, once again, is a rough translation. Look, that's a terrible collision. Rough translation means I am here, and you have to say it at all times. So for example, if I'm running with the ball and the opponent is shouting voy and I collide with them, then I've given away a free kick because I haven't shouted voy. You need to be saying it constantly in blind football, but even if you do, things like this can happen. So Kieran Seal is okay. The England number 4, who's been playing his football all across Europe, witnessed him playing for Avoy Bruno in a tournament in the Czech Republic recently.
Well, Martin is still receiving treatment. He's been laid on his back now by the 2 medics that are on the field, Sergio Gomez and Maurizio Tejada. And one thing I have to say about that, Pete, you've used the word sickening a lot of time for collisions we've had on the pitch. That definitely is the worst of the bunch, and you could hear it right from up here in our commentary position. And Martin gets up, receives a yellow card because of the no call of voice. So in a way you could say it was his own fault there for that, but no one in blind football deserves to be clattered into at such a rate of knots. And of course these accidents can occur, and he will be taken off, Martin. Hopefully it's nothing more serious than just the collision there. But Alomar straight away coming back on, and for Spain this isn't good news, because as great a player as Alomar is, Martin was brought on a couple of moments ago, Pete, to bring a goal or 2 for Spain.
Yeah, he's their top goal scorer, but there's a prime example of the rule being used. A yellow card given to Martin. He leaves the field of play, but it was actually caused by his fault. He did not shout voy. So when Kieran Seal was running at full pace with the ball towards Martin, of course, own half. So it's now 2 team fouls for England, 2 team fouls for Spain. You can see them by the crosses on your screen. Here goes Robin Williams with a mazy run down the left and runs straight out of play. You're allowed 5 team fouls per half. Any more committed, they'll result in an 8-metre penalty kick per foul as well. And that's what those crosses mean, just below England and just below Spain. It's with Spain, and Acosta into the final third. Left-hand side of the D, stops before the left-hand corner. Now goes back along the kickboard. Acosta still with the ball. 4 England players are back, starting to run again. He's just going to decide on that broken line which way he's going to go, but across comes Kieran Seal, who's none the worse for that collision, and he plays it over to the left. And Darren Harris, one of the more experienced players in the England squad. He's played more than 125 times for his country, knocks the ball out, and it will be a corner. It came off a Spanish player last. Darren Harris has been on. There you can see the Spanish number 9, Martin, just been taken into a medical tent. Yeah, Darren Harris actually has represented his country at judo as well in a gap of his football career. One of the real stars of the England setup, and one of the more popular players, or most popular players I would say, in the England side amongst the other players. Here goes Williams back to the broken line, in fact nearer the halfway line than the goal line. Now he turns, runs towards the defence. Good tackle by Acosta, clean tackle as well. He's been pushed to the ground, but Williams does ever so well to win the ball back for England. Starts to run again inside the centre circle, goes down the left, beats Acosta, doesn't beat Lopez though. Fair tackle, says the referee, Francois Cocan, and Spain inside their own D try and run it out with Munoz.
On the left side of his own penalty area, Munoz turns into a bit of trouble with Robin Williams just in front of him, but Munoz turns away well. And Munoz has got a very strange and unique way of running with the ball, but it's working at the moment. Head forward, running with his legs behind his body, more or less, as he comes towards the left-hand side. Just in front of him is English facing his own byline, plays a very sensible ball inside for Dan James, and England can work it from the back. A ball down the left-hand side, comes off the kickboard. Harris not fully committing to that one as Alomar got there first, but Harris wins the second ball, and a mixture of colours there on the far side. Harris's yellow trainers against Alomar's blue, and certainly making your eyes go a bit funny, that one, as Harris comes towards the halfway line now, trying to turn away from Alomar, and then Harris goes back on the left hand side again. Alomar goes on the right-hand side, coming inside just on the broken line now. Alomar in a central position. He's got Acosta on the right, should he get the call from him. Alomar just over the edge of the centre circle. Great tackling his back though by English, who strides over the halfway line, tries to scamper away from Alomar, and now goes to ground. Lopez is the next man in front of English. It goes over the halfway line. Alomar tries to burst through towards the edge of the area. He gets a touch on it, but he goes out for a goalkeeper's ball. And we're getting word from the sideline as well that the Spanish bench have been warned over their conduct on the sideline. They're saying a word too many for the officials' liking at the moment, and we had that yesterday against Turkey as well, so they really need to watch their discipline to the Spaniards. Costa on the right-hand side, coming inside onto his left foot, edge of the area, tries to shoot. He had 4 white shirts around him. It comes off none of them and goes out of play for an England ball.
Yeah, we can only guess really what for, but at the moment it's for excessive coaching, so shouting instructions onto the field, and obviously the crowd need to remain silent as much as the coaches as well. And there you can see Francois Coquelin going over and saying to the coaches, you can't be shouting, because again it can be very dangerous, as we've already witnessed in this game. England get the game back underway, flip ball by English down the right, and that runs out, and it will be a Spanish restart from their left. England leading by 1-0, 2 halves of 20 minutes, and we've had just under 9 of the first half here in the centre of Berlin. The first of the semi-finals in the IBSA Blind Football European Championships. Coming up later will be France against Russia. Long ball forward by Munoz is good. Acosta on the right, can't pick it up though, and it runs out. It will be a corner to Spain because it just came off the knee of Darren Harris, and Spain deep inside English territory will have a chance to get on to an even keel with England, who have yet still to concede a goal in this competition, although Spain have only conceded the 1, and they're a really difficult group. Only 2 teams got through from Group A and Group B, and Spain, well, they got through a group that contained the might of Russia and also Turkey, and England decimated every single person in Group A, including a determined Germany by 3-0. Off goes Robin Williams, and onto the field comes Roy Turnham once again. The goal scorer for England in this game. 1-0 they lead. Can they get through to the final? They were beaten actually in the semi-final stage 2 years ago in Hereford. They then lost the 3rd, 4th place playoff game to Spain on penalties. Plenty of games in semi-finals and quarter-finals ending in 0-0, and that's why they've extended the size of the goals. Here goes Acosta, shot from distance, goes wide. Just got the outside of his right boot onto that and couldn't direct it towards goal. Remember, there is a coach behind the goals that they're attacking for each team, and they're giving instructions to the players in that final third, as well as the goalkeeper giving instructions to the defenders inside their own third. Here's English just outside of his D. He's going to be told now that Acosta's coming forward, and a bit risky there. Plays it out to the right-hand side, just inside the Spanish half, and Seal squares it over to the left, but Harris had come short. Only finds Acosta, who can start a run from deep down the centre, beats Harris, runs straight into Karen Seal, and will get a free kick for Spain, just outside the broken line, inside the English half, and dead centre as well. And again, it will probably be for a no void call. The referee comes to the halfway line, and he's signifying to the bench why, and yes, it was for no void called, and it's going to be the 3rd team foul for England. So once again, below the scores, you can see England 1, Spain 0. 9 minutes 33 seconds gone. England have got 3 crosses, Spain have got 2. That's team fouls. You're allowed 5 team fouls per half. Any more, and it will be an 8-metre penalty kick for every further infringement. Free kick to Spain. Move to the right by Acosta. Chance for a shot, and Roy Turnham comes across and just puts Acosta off and knocks him off balance. Fair tackle, says the referee. Long throw by Dan James.
Dan Harris is running down the left-hand side. Slight tug of the shirt by Lopez there as Harris tries to get away from him. Munoz comes across towards that corner. Turns away well from Harris. Munoz, who's played very well in these championships so far for Spain, comes over the halfway line, runs to his teammate Acosta, who picks up possession, goes into the attacking zone, driving at 2 England defenders, slightly gets the ball caught up between his 2 big yellow trainered feet, comes towards the left-hand side. He's got Seal in his back. Costa currently facing the kick ball, back to goal. He can lay this off to Alomar if he gets the shout. Instead decides to laterally come inside from the left. No foul according to the referees. He went down under the challenge there of Seal. Still has possession, does Acosta, just outside the attacking zone. For England plays back in their final third as Costa just jiggles away slightly from Seal, then gets the right-footed shot away from 8 metres out, and it drifts wide of the far post, and England have called a timeout here, and I wonder if this is because of the 3 team fouls that they've conceded in this game already. And of course England conceding their 55th, 55th would have been quite incredible, 35th team foul of these championships, and they do need to watch their discipline. Of course, we've seen many a time in these championships so far there is a fine line between being committed to the cause and being strong in the tackle, but going a bit too far as well.
Yeah, you have to bear in mind the amount of time left in the first half. There is still 9.5 minutes left, and it's 9.5 minutes that get stopped every time there is an infringement. A timeout called, it's a minute long, or maybe the ball goes out for a goal kick or a corner, the time gets stopped every single opportunity. So this 9.5 minutes could last up to 20, maybe even half an hour or so. So England will have to survive with only 2 more team fouls. Then again, Spain have already got 2, and we've seen plenty of matches where teams have both had 5 with, say, 5 minutes to go, and it's made for a really intriguing final 5 minutes, especially in the final group stages of this tournament. And I mentioned the second semi-final, France, who finished second in Group A against the Group B winners Russia, very powerful team Russia, who lost in the final 2 years ago to Turkey. And they got their revenge in the first group match, actually, by beating Turkey. And the defending champions haven't made the semi-finals. Turkey and Spain playing out a thrilling 1-1 draw yesterday. You can see in the background now those wonderful shots. We're here in Berlin on the site of an old railway station where the ruins are still here behind the scoreboard, and at the other end there's a really interesting building which is a concert venue, interesting pointy roof. Here goes Turnham approaching the D on the right, can't get a shot off on goal, being pushed out wide by Munoz, who touched the ball last, and it will be a corner to England. Another good dribble there by Turnham. You can see that concert venue in the background, and it will be an England corner from their right hand side. Coming down to help Turnham take this corner is Darren Harris. So will Harris just knock the ball for Turnham to take? Yes, certainly appears that way when the player goes behind the other for a free kick or for a corner. That means they'll roll it, and then the other player will now start a slalom run towards the D, arching round back towards the centre, but Turnham's out-muzzled by the Spanish defence, and Alomar brings it over the halfway, just runs it too far forward. English got a ball touch on it last, and it will run out for a Spanish corner now down their right. So doesn't take long for the ball to go from one end of the field to the other in blind football. It's an end-to-end sport, and you'll notice as well that the clock has stopped. There's ruins actually in the background, you can see on that shot. We're actually situated on the old railway lines themselves. Makes for a lovely amphitheatre, and now the sun is out and it's a glorious late afternoon in Berlin. England winning by 1-0 in the first semi-final of these IBSA Blind Football European Championships. Once again, get in contact with us at Euro 2017 Berlin. Plenty of England fans are in this stadium. There's also plenty of Spanish as well, Spanish flags all around as well. Use the hashtag #TheSoundOfFootball if you want to ask us a question about this wonderful sport of blind football. Mazy dribble by Acosta, can't get contact with his left boot, but he's still going into the D, and he's being pushed away by the England defence, and Roy Turnham, who goes to ground, now gets back to his feet, still over halfway Roy goes. He's got a bandage on his left arm and hand after falling awkwardly in their previous game. He's now motoring down the left, past the broken line, using the kickboard on the left to try and keep control of the ball, just overruns it, and out of play for a Spanish throw out by the goalkeeper, who wastes no time in finding Acosta on halfway. The ball needs to bounce at least once in their own half from a throw out. Acosta shot from the edge of the D, and Dan James parries it away to his left-hand side. Got his angles correct there, the goalkeeper for England, who's yet to be beaten in these championships. But England will need to do better to block any shots from Acosta. They can't afford to give him the space inside the D, and it's a corner to Spain.
Yeah, and that is exactly why Dan James has got a starting berth in the England goal today. Despite the impressive performance of Dylan Malpass yesterday, Dan James very much the England #1 despite the 13 on his back. Acosta on the right hand side of the area, goes for a shot on the angle, easily blocked by the shins of Harris. Cannons out towards the right hand side and Turner, midway inside his own half. A couple of Spanish players colliding together to the kickboard on the near side as they try and trace down the location of the ball. Then switch by Turner towards the left, but still not outside the England half. And Acosta, who's really changed the game for Spain since coming on as a substitute, this time loses out on the edge of the England area, and Seal just tries to lean down and have Costa on his back and use his strength to try and get the ball away, but Costa comes out on top in that battle of the two bustly midfielders for both teams. Costa just having the ball on the right foot, on the right-hand side as well. Gets inside of Seal, then collides into Harris, but the referee has given a free kick in favour of England, saying that Costa was a bit too overzealous in the challenge there on Dylan Harris as he came in from the right-hand side. In fact, it may be a free kick for Spain. Indeed it is. Well, the referee there pointed at Costa and just told him to calm down a little bit, which implied to me that the free kick had been given in England's direction. However, it seems like a call of no void from Dylan Harris was apparent. It's a 4th team foul of the game from England, and maybe he was just saying to Costa, look, I've given the decision, please calm down. So it'll be a free kick for Spain, who have certainly had more of the ball in this game so far against England, but they find themselves 1 goal behind. Lopez stood behind Acosta. Acosta, of course, with a white sweatband around his head and the big yellow trainers on his feet as well. Looks to sort of dribble this one towards the right corner of the area, maybe get a shot away. All the players outfield forwards for Spain in their red shirts, navy blue shorts and red socks, and it will be Lopez rolling this forward to Acosta. Seal's also leaning forward at the edge of the England wall. All 4 England players are in that wall at the front post of Dan James's net as the posts are tapped behind the goal, so Acosta knows exactly where the woodwork is. The referee blows his whistle. Acosta on to the left foot, central position shot. Good closing down from Karen Seal, who charged out of that wall there and made sure that Acosta was under too much pressure to get the shot on target. Goes wide of Dan James' bottom right-hand post by quite a distance.
Throw out by James. Finds English just outside of his D on the left. Across comes Alamar, but nowhere near the ball, and English has run straight into Acosta, who is the danger man at the moment for Spain. James English battles back on the edge of the Spanish D. Going to ground and holding his head now is Lopez, and again he gets a kick in the back by his own player. So the referee just pauses the play just for the safety of the players on the floor. It could easily be a drop ball, and what normally happens, it will be given to a team and they'll just play it behind for a restart for the goalkeeper. That's what's going to happen here. But yeah, England living dangerously in the last 5 to 7 minutes. They've got 14 fouls. Just remember, you're allowed 5 anymore, and it will result in an 8-metre penalty kick. That's what the crosses mean below the England score. Spain have got 2. One question coming through on Twitter, hashtag the sound of football. How did the players know where the ball is? Long throw out by the goalkeeper downfield, and they're listening for the rattle of ball bearings inside a tin UFO-shaped device inside the ball. That's why the crowd are silent. England with the ball inside their own D. Acosta with it. Back to goal, though, on the right. He's going to try and turn away from Turnham, who's doing well by just holding Acosta up, who's much the bigger player. But Turnham using his arm fairly, just keeping Acosta outside now of the broken line, forcing the Spanish number 6 to stop. Turn inside the centre circle. Now he's running at the England defence. Past the broken line. Tries a shot from distance. Connects more with English than the football. And English comes out for England and wins the ball fairly from Acosta. The big number 5 for England. Back to the halfway line, plays it down the right, tries to run after the ball, and battling with the big number 4, Lopez, for Spain, who just hook it clear. Anywhere will do for their defenders at the moment. And Acosta picks it up. Again, it's the Acosta show for Spain, but English continues his marauding run. He's now by the left corner for England, deep inside Spanish territory. Lopez comes across, knocks it down the line. He's going to try and run after it, runs into the referee. Turnham picks it up, and Lopez does well. He's more of a defender, so if he gets into the final third, England will be confident for either stopping the ball through their goalkeeper or tackling him on the edge of the England D. Now Lopez is out of position. Here comes Turnham down the right, just stands on the ball at the wrong moment for an England fan, and Roy Turnham brings down Acosta. Now this could be the 5th foul for England. They can actually fouls be given just to a player. They can be personal fouls. If you do receive 5 of those, then you'll be asked to leave the pitch for the remainder of the game. They don't have to go against the team. We have to wait for the official then to come to the halfway line to signify his decision. Francois Coquelin on the halfway line now, saying a foul caused by the England number 9. Chopping down the player. It's the first foul by Turnham, and it is indeed the 5th team foul for England. So any more team fouls in the remaining 5 minutes and 46 seconds, then England will concede an 8-metre penalty kick. There's going to be a timeout called by the Spanish team. and that will be a minute-long timeout. It gives Spain time to discuss tactics, take on water. The same for England as well. So England with 5 team fouls. Once again, any more calls and it will be an 8-metre penalty kick. So just going back to the football itself, that's one of the questions asked to us at Euro 2017 Berlin's the Twitter handle to follow. So if you're at work, you can then go on Twitter and have a look at the results, who scored, etc. We've got semi-final action today. Then we've got a 9th place, 7th place and a very interesting 5th place game, because Spain is the location of the World Cup next year in Madrid. Now, because they're the host nation, Spain are already in the World Cup, and it means the top 4 teams here will qualify as well. So everyone in the semi-finals will go to the World Cup, but because Spain are in the semi-finals, it means the winner of that 5th place game will then go to the World Cup, and that's between Germany and Turkey. So a top-class encounter to look forward to tomorrow, and then we have the finals day the day after. So plenty to look forward to. And one of the questions coming in on hashtag the sound of football was about the football itself. It's a size 4 football. Now, if you're an 11-a-side football player and then you were playing with a size 5 ball, so this is just one size down, it's actually quite heavy. So you need to be very brave. I always say, first thing a blind football player needs to be, and that is brave to play this game. And also you need to be brave for a goalkeeper. On comes Robin Williams replacing Roy Turner for England, because the ball's quite heavy. Also, you might have a giant number 6, Acosta for Spain, bearing down on you and kicking the football as hard as he can towards you from close range. And those ball bearings making a baby's rattling sound. That's what the players are listening out for onto the field. Acosta with the ball on the broken line on the right for Spain. Broken line signifying the 3/3 of the field, so an attacking third, midfield and defensive third. It means that if you're listening to this commentary and you're partially sighted or blind, it means you can understand where the ball is on the field at all times, and it means you'll enjoy the game a whole lot more. Ball back to the halfway line, and Lopez inside the centre circle, lovely drag back, and then flips it over to the left-hand side for Alamar, the young superstar from Spain, who's by the broken line, drifts inside from the left, plenty of pace, but he's back to the halfway line, now piles forward and runs straight into Darren Harris. Nothing given, both players shouting volley, so they let each other know where they were, but collisions do happen. His shot is poor from distance, and that goes out for a England goal kick, and it's going to be another substitution, this time for Spain. And coming onto the field is going to be Martin, who is their top goal scorer in this competition, number 9. And coming off the field, looks like it's going to be Alamar. That's his last bit of play for now. There are 6 substitutions allowed per half. They are rolling subs, so you can come on and off. But a shot from distance goes wide.
And Martin, of course, who actually had blood coming from his face after that collision earlier on in that game, this game with Kerin Seal. I'm glad to see him back on the field, because it was looking pretty ominous for him at that point. An awful collision between the heads. Seal has it midway inside his own half, left-hand side on the broken line, left-footed ball alongside the foot of the kick ball, controlled well by Robin Williams. Back to goal, he's got Ivan Lopez and Adolfo Acosta forcing back towards the halfway line. Acosta dispossesses Williams there. A really good battle between the two number 6s. Definitely one to lick your lips about, because those two are huge parts of both teams, and head-to-head it's a fantastic battle. Good bit of skill from Lopez on the right to try and get away from Williams. Williams managed just to block it with his shins first time around. England have 4 players behind the ball. One of them, Darren Harris, tries to get a touch on it there on the near side, the right, coming towards the halfway line. He's got Martin in his back, but Harris still marauders on down the right channel, stops at the broken line, and he's forced back by Martin into his own half. Harris here will want to find a pass. He attempts one towards the far side, but he's unsuccessful. Second time around, kicks into the shins of Williams. England here just managing this game decently. It's not been an incredible performance from them so far. They're really having to grind this one out rather than play nicely like we probably saw in the first few games from them. Seal on the left-hand side, just breaking over the broken line. Now towards the halfway line, left-footed ball towards the right-hand side. Williams was not receptive to that and now has to come forward and try and meet Lopez, who picked up the intercepted ball. Dead central inside his own half, plays it towards the right-hand side, and Acosta tries to skip past Seal. Seal defends well, though, on the edge of his broken line. Acosta still going on, down the right channel. They're both facing the kickboard on the far side, in front of the England bench. Acosta then retreats back to halfway before turning back to face the England goal. Down the right-hand side, comes towards the area, shot right-footed. Really poor from him, and it squirms wide into the corner and into the hands of the goalkeeper, Dan James. He's just gently throws it out towards the left-hand side, and Seal diagonally towards this near side, searching for Williams, but it's Lopez who's there first, comes over the halfway line left-hand side in front of Darren Harris, and then Lopez comes inside again before Paquilin it out to the left, and Martin, who he'd originally left behind. Martin wasn't expecting that, but does manage to get there ahead of Harris towards the left side of the area. It just squirms out agonisingly for him though, and out for an England ball, and England are just managing to keep firm, gritty, and holding out Spain so far. Got a question coming in as well. Have England ever reached the final of anything before? Pete, you're going to give us the answer. Oh, Pete the guru, he's giving it me. The answer is yes. England have lost on 2 occasions in a European Championship final, both of them to France, which would have meant that the game the other day would have been all that bit sweeter. That 7-0 win, of course, for England. One of the reasons why they are here in this game, but they're having to hold their own at the moment. Spain have got a corner on the left-hand side. Antonio Martin comes across to take this one. Again, Spain bringing everyone forward, but first we're going to have a substitution. Leaving the field will be Darren Harris, and Roy Turnham re-enters the fray.
Yeah, just testing your knowledge, Jonathan, and you've passed with flying colours. And it could be England versus France once again. France will take on a powerful Russian team who got to the final 2 years ago. That's in the second semi-final, coming up at 7:30 local time here in Berlin. So if you're watching this back in England, it would be 6:30. Martin going into the D, stopped by Robin Williams. Now he dribbles towards the halfway line. He can go the whole way, Robin Williams. One of the star players, not only in the England team, but in this tournament. Well tackled by Munoz, who likes to put his head down and bulldoze his way through. Tries to claim a foul, none given, and now a foul given against Spain. And the Spanish bench are not happy whatsoever with that decision, and probably because of the no foul given against England before that. Munoz does tend to put his head down, and like I said, a bit of a rhino of a player, really. Just goes marauding into the defence of the opposition, and even if he's saying yellow card given to the Spanish coach, even if he's shouting voy, he does tend to go over because of his marauding runs and head down rhino style. And again, England are on them 5-team fouls, so that's why Spain want any free kicks. It will turn into an 8-metre penalty. Doesn't matter where on the field, it could be right by their own corner. If it's an England foul and it goes against the team, then it will go the other end of the field for an 8-metre penalty. Doesn't matter where on the field the infringement takes place. So Spain, they've given away a free kick inside England territory. Roy Turnham brings it out to the halfway line, plays it down the right, trying to find Williams, does so. Williams goes into the D, nothing given, and that comes off Munoz last. He tried to play it to his goalkeeper Gutierrez, and it runs out for a corner to England. England won't mind, just relieves a bit of pressure that Spain have put on for the last 5 minutes or so. It's been a while since England last had a shot or had a real good attack towards the goal away to our right. We're just up on the left-hand side in the white tented building just above the stand. There's John Pugh, the England coach. Turnham takes the corner, being pushed away by Acosta. Now starts a run down the left into the D, similar position to where he scored from. He's in the D, central position, right-footed shot, palmed away by the goalkeeper, who dived to his left, got one hand, he creeped underneath his body, managed to scoop it away. Did Gutierrez. It's by the Spanish left corner, and there's 2 defenders trying to bring it out, and they do so up to halfway down their left-hand side. Going back into the middle is Martin, the top goal scorer for Spain in this tournament. Shoots from distance, harmlessly wide, but a dangerous moment there for Spain, nearly conceding the second. Good save by the goalkeeper, who can so easily squirm underneath the keeper. Remember, it's only a size 4 football, but he did well, did Gutierrez, to get his arm down and palm it away. But a dangerous moment there, very similar position from when Turnham actually opened the scoring, and Spanish fans breathe a sigh of relief. Is with English over halfway, stops, now goes down the centre, past the broken line, runs into Acosta, and the ball goes down towards the right corner for England. It runs out of play, interesting decision, none given, because the Spanish defender managed to stop the ball on the byline and just boots it downfield, and it runs out for an England goal kick there, winning by 1-0, and we've got less than a minute to go in this first half.
And a rare shite on goal there for England, and they have had 100 shots coming into this game, but they certainly have not seen that prolific in front of goal so far in this one. Credit to Spain, who I would say have been marginally the better team. Seal on the left-hand side, facing his own byline here, goes down on the challenge of Acosta. The referee tells him to get back up again, so Seal does get back to his feet and shanks across the face of his own goal there. A dangerous ball indeed towards the right. Williams is back defending. He can bring the ball forward. Martin has gone the wrong way in trying to intercept him, and Williams goes down the right-hand side. Good run. He's got a couple of red shirts in front of him. Gets past Lopez. Again, Munoz, the last man back for Spain, manages to clear it away from the edge of his own area to the right, and Lopez comes up towards the halfway line. Over the halfway line he breaks. Good run from Lopez. He needs support though. Tight on the right-hand side. Front of the England bench. Squares it across the face of the area. Martin tries to run onto the end of it. England trailing, get the back in his wake. However, it goes out of play, and it will be an England ball. Just having a quick replay of Roy Turnham's effort on goal, and a really good reaction save from Pedro Gutierrez down to his left, and that will be the last action of the half. And England do lead by 1-0, but there is certainly a long way to go in this one as to who will be in the final of the IBSA Blind Football European Championships 2017. Spain have given England a long run for their money, it has to be said, so far in the first period of 20 minutes, and I sense more goals in this clash. England got off to the perfect start when Roy Turnham managed to cut in from the left-hand side and unleash a low right-footed effort into the bottom corner of Pedro Gutierrez's net, but ever since it has been all Spain who have been hammering at the England door. Dan James having to get down low to his left to make a couple of decent saves, particularly having to deny the Spain number 6, Adolfo Acosta, who started the game as a substitute, but he has come on and really influenced things in favour of Miguel Angel Beguera's team. It has to be said that the Spanish coach has slightly lost his discipline in the first half, and a couple of Spanish coaches are still talking to Francois Coquelin as both teams go towards their respective tents at the half-time interval. But the score, as far as England are concerned at the break, they will be the happier on reflection. They lead at half-time in the first of today's semi-finals by 1-0.
Well, I think, Peter Selby, we got that just about nailed on at the beginning, didn't we? We said defensively both these teams were good, and whilst England has scored a lot of goals already in this competition, they might not get so many chances today. 4 shots on target from England, 12 from Spain, and that's exactly just about how we played it now. Very good at the back, England, not conceding goals. Spain don't concede many. England have a goal hero in Roy Turnham.
They do. They started very quickly. Roy with a goal early on, nearly scoring a very similar goal at the end of the first half, and England conceding fouls. So going to form, England scoring, not conceding, like you said, but also conceding those 5 fouls, which is a worry. They got away with it because they didn't commit a 6th, which would have meant an 8-metre penalty kick, but a great start for England early on in the first half.
And just to reiterate to those new to the sport of blind football, here in these championships, you get 5 team fouls. At half-time, it is reset. So they won't start the second half with those 5. They haven't got a tightrope to walk for the entire 20 minutes. So they will start again. That's why Peter was just saying they got very lucky. They got to 5, didn't commit another team foul during the rest of that half. We'll take a look at the highlights of the first half in a couple of moments. It's not secure though, is it? Spain do look good, and they are pulling the trigger as much as they can.
I think Spain have played very well. They really got back into it after that early blow. We mentioned that Munoz actually was in the starting lineup, maybe to just weather the early storm from England. That didn't work with England scoring early on. He was quickly replaced by Martin, their top goal scorer, and England looked set to get to the first final since 2009. But Spain come right back into it, and they've had plenty of chances. They just need to maybe get a few more on target. They failed really to trouble Dan James in that first half. He's seen a few go by the post, but the ones that have been on target have been quite simple to save.
Pete, we felt that Spain had got themselves a defensive lineup to start with. Acosta and Martin on the subs bench at the beginning of this game, and yet they conceded very, very early on to Roy Turnham. Then had to change it all around. Didn't quite work for them, that defensive change, did it? We'll take a look at the goal. Didn't quite work, that idea of coming out and holding England for a long period of time. And you can see inside the first 60 seconds, Turnham overdrive.
Yeah, Turnham on the left side of the D, and a right-footed shot past the goalkeeper, who's got a little chance from, 4 or 5 yards out, and he managed to turn the Spanish defence And again, you can see here, right-footed shot past the goalkeeper on his near post. He comes out as far as he can. He can't come out outside of his 2-metre penalty square. And once again, the England number 9 doing the business in front of goal.
So plenty of chances after that. As we say, England only hitting the target 4 times. But Turnham, when he just changes up that turn of speed, he really does leave the Spanish defenders in his wake. That one whistling by the post of England's first choice goalkeeper, Dan James.
Yeah, Roy Turnham's come from an athletics background. He's got the pace and he's also got the accuracy in front of goal. Something that Spain have been missing. Acosta came onto the field, the distinctive white headband. That's one shot that actually was on target, one of only a few in the first half, and a number of free kicks given to Spain on the edge of the England D, and once again this one going wide. That was probably the only one I think that Dan James in goal would have been struggling with, but the Spanish coach is not happy as well. Even though plenty of fouls given against England, the Spanish coach has been given a yellow card, and they've also been warned for their antics on the sideline. Of course, if they're shouting, and they can't be doing that, because the players have got to listen out for a voice being called by other players and also for the rattle of the ball.
Okay, so evenly poised here in our first semi-final. But remember, it's not the only game of today here in Berlin. France taking on Russia. Semi-final number 2 here at these IBSA Blind Football European Championships 2017. A lucky France, as everybody around the building keeps telling me. I remember lots of teams winning things when people thought they didn't deserve to. Russia, on the other hand, have looked very, very good. You can see the England coaching staff having a chat with the players and getting them through half-time. Well, they often say that 2 teams go head-to-head. Take a look at this next clip. If you missed the first half, head-to-head indeed.
Now this collision here by Keren Seal, the England number 4, and then Martin, the Spanish 9. That was given as a free kick to England because Martin number 9 had not shouted voy. So Keren Seal did not know where he was, even though Martin came off worse. That's a indication of why you need to be shouting voy at all times. It's a rough translation of I am here. You need to let players know at all times, not only the opposition, but your own players, for safety purposes and also to help you actually play the game. Now, collisions will happen, but that one was avoidable and it was an England free kick.
Keren Seal unable to avoid Martin. So Martin then went from the side of the field. He left to go and receive medical treatment, and we hope he makes a full recovery from that. Had a little bit of blood on the side of his face as he went past us, so clearly that collision not the healthiest at all. Don't forget, France versus Russia a little bit later on. A big thank you to all of our viewers, no matter where you've been tuning into, whether it be on YouTube or whether it be on Facebook. We're well into over 1 million views for the games that we've had here at these championships. We'll get you a final figure on finals day. England taking on Spain right now. Don't forget, France against Russia a little bit later on. Tomorrow, big action in our playoff games, 9th, 7th and 5th place. But that 5th place game between Germany and Turkey has become a whole lot more important. Spain are the holders, or the hosts, should I say, of the World Cup next year, which means the fact that they're in the top 4 means that 5th place will qualify for the World Cup next year in Spain. So it's Germany against Turkey. German broadcasters are coming to the game. They're expecting a sold-out arena here in Berlin. So make sure you are sat in front of your telly or computer or device ready for that absolutely amazing 5th place game at 7:30 local time tomorrow. Very quickly, Pete, before I send you back off to your commentary position, England all the way or a Spain comeback? Nice and simple.
I think Spain have got a goal in them, but I'm going to go for an England win. I think England, if they score early in this second half, I can see them maybe going on and scoring 3, 4, maybe even 5 and going away. But I can see Spain getting a goal, and if they score early on, then it could be Spain reaching the final. But my prediction, an England win.
Thank you very much to Peter Selby. As you can see on the screen, and in the background, the old entrance to the railway station here in Berlin. England have been steamrolling everybody so far, not this time around. Just 1-0 at half-time against Spain as the two teams start to make their way back out. Let's hand back over for one final 20 minutes in this first semi-final to Jonathan Bell and Peter Selby.
Thank you very much, Alan. Welcome back to Berlin for this second period. And of course, for one of these teams, it will be the end of the road at this game. England leading by 1-0, of course, after that first-minute strike from Roy Turnham. But Spain have definitely seemed as if they have got a goal in them. This game is not over yet. England will certainly be aware of that. Spain will have confidence that they are able to come from the dumps and be able to get back into a game. Of course, last night here, they were 1-0 down at the break against Turkey and still managed to get the draw that they needed in this one. Of course, if this game does end in a draw, doesn't go to extra time, it's straight to penalty kicks. The last time that happened between these two teams, it was Spain that came out on top in the fourth place playoff in 2015 in Hereford. So England will be starting this game with the kickoff from right to left in their white shirts, white shorts and white socks. Spain in their red shirts, navy blue shorts and red socks as well. Stood over the ball, Roy Turnham just behind Robin Williams, who will get England off on the attack here. The officials just making sure that the goalkeepers are in their goal area, and we are away. Williams immediately charging down the right-hand side, goes past Martin. He overruns the ball, does Williams, however, and it goes out of play for a Spain ball. Gutierrez bowls it short towards the near side, the right, with Lopez. No changes at the break from either team, as Lopez just trickles over the defensive zone before switching a low diagonal pass towards the far side kick ball, rebounds back inside and hits the left thigh of Seal, and then Williams strides over halfway, cannons into Costa, but he wins the ball fairly. Of course, England conceded 5 team fouls in the first half, were very close to conceding an 8-metre penalty. However, those team fouls are rescinded for the second period. Costa bulldozing his way forward, comes into a melee of 3 England white shirts, one of them Williams, who comes across to the near side, the left, who will then try and turn away from Acosta, who is in his back, and Acosta just has a foot on the ball alongside the foot of the kickboard on the near side. Lopez comes across to help his mate as well on halfway on the right before switching it towards the left and the byline. Good ball for Martin, who gets inside momentarily. Chance here for Spain. He's now got his back to go on the edge of the area. Turns on his left foot. Good shot. Down low to his left, though, was Dan James, who wasn't to be beaten and manages to claim it with 2 hands. England fans getting a bit excited there, just with the Spaniards as well. That moment on goal, so the officials just asking for quiet once again as Seal comes outside of his defensive zone, stops in a central position, then carries on his run again, goes past Martin over the halfway line. Seal, England have 2 players inside the offensive zone here with Turnham and English back. It's Williams on the right-hand side now, battling away with Lopez. Lopez has got Williams behind him, manages to turn away from him inside from the left and plays a low angle ball towards the near side, rebounds off the kickboard, and out it goes for an England ball. And Dan James will start from the back as England attack from right to left.
Yeah, glorious sunshine here in Berlin, late afternoon sunshine, so much so I've just had to put some suntan cream on because it's streaming into our commentary position. Good ball downfield by English, down the right to find Robin Williams. Here he turns towards the edge of the D, left-footed shot goes wide by a foot. Good effort there by Robin Williams, goalkeeper was fully stretched, long throw out by the Spanish keeper, bounces inside his own half. It needs to bounce at least once, but that's too much on that. It comes out of play for a England restart. Get in contact with us, send us your questions on Blind Football, hashtag the sound of football at Euro 2017 Berlin. England less than 20 minutes away for a spot in the European Championships final. Controlled by, again, Robin Williams on the right kickboard, using it for a bit of leverage, trying to leave her away from Munoz, who's very tenacious. The ball has to keep on moving. The referees can call an infringement if it has been stopped. Across comes Karen Seal to take over, run straight into Munoz. Still got the ball though, the England number 4. Leaves it now for Turnham on the left. Past the broken line, Turnham edge of the D, just being pushed off by the Costa. Fairly so, says the 2 referees. 2 referees on the field. Something I think that 11-a-side football could take a note from. Ball downfield for Spain. It's just going to run towards the kickboard, and England are just going to shepherd it out for a goal kick. Now the size 4 football, again, just to let you know, it has a number of ball bearings inside a tin UFO-shaped device which rattles like a baby's rattle, and that's what the players are listening for inside the Spanish D. Munoz just getting the ball caught under his feet, stops it from going out of play. the referee and is very close and says it didn't cross that byline. Ball down the left. Can't be controlled by Matan, who's the top goal scorer, number 9 for Spain in these championships with 5. Just like you know about England, they've got 3 players on 5. In fact, Turnham now up on 6, along with Robin Williams. Here goes English, up to the broken line, across to the right, shot straight into the midriff of the goalkeeper. Good effort, a lot of power on that, and straight at the goalkeeper, who's relieved to catch the ball into the midriff. Spain down the other end, Matan into the D, pushed away by English, and a corner to Spain. It's a size 4 football, quite heavy as well, so the keepers need to be brave, and they can only come outside to the edge of their 2-metre goalkeeping square as well. Any further and they touch the ball, it will be a penalty, and that's happened on a number of occasions. The Spanish coaches once again being told they're already on a yellow card, and they've had a warning already for excessive shouting. It needs to be silent so the players can listen out for that ball. So the coach warned again, he's already on a yellow card, they can be sent off. Good tackle on Matan, and England on a counter-attack through Seal. Only man back is Munoz. Seal, right side of the D, just got a bit excited and overran the ball. The ball stationary on the edge of the D, and it takes 3 Spanish defenders to try and locate it. And now eventually they can clear it through Lopez, using those kickboards that are on the side of the field. They're angled just away from the players, just so if they do run into them, it doesn't hurt as much, because if it was 90 degrees, well, it would hurt an awful lot. Shot from distance, straight at the goalkeeper, Dan James. Gets down low, one bent leg, knee on the floor, and then a leg flat behind him, cricket style I like to say. Collision in midfield between Turnham and Acosta, and it will be a foul for England. The referee, Francois Coquin, just saying to Acosta exactly why, and I think Acosta's saying, look, I shouted voy. If you're new to blind football, there is an injury actually to an England player down just outside of his D. It's an injury to Kerin Seal. So in this small interval, just run through a few of the basic rules. You need to be shouting voy at all times. Voy basically means I am here, and you need to shout it for your opposition players, for your players on your side, and for safety as well. And if you don't shout voy and there's a collision, then you've given away a foul. The goals have been extended just before this tournament. The rules have been changed. Plenty of 0-0s in quarterfinals, semi-finals and finals of recent tournaments. Meant that the goals have been increased not just by 10 or 20 centimetres, Jonathan, they've been increased by 66 centimetres in width and in height by 33 centimetres. They're an awful lot bigger, so the goalkeepers have got a lot to do now. It's meant for more entertaining games. The goalkeepers themselves, obviously fully sighted, they can control their players inside the final third, give them instructions. At the other end of the field, in the attacking third, there is a coach behind the goal, again, telling the players exactly what to do, where they are, and on free kicks they can tap the posts as well. The pitch is split into thirds, so when we say past the broken line signifies defensive, midfield and attacking third. There goes Turnham, the goal scorer for England, down the right. There's a collision between 2 players, but both shouting voy, so the referee waves play on. Collisions can happen in blind football. Clearance by Lopez from his own left corner over to the right, and Acosta, wearing his, again, distinctive white headband. He goes to ground holding his nose. Nothing given by the referee. Kerin Seal comes down the left for England. Looks like he's feeling no effect from an injury earlier on. And now the referee stops play because of an injury to the nose of Acosta. Now this is one of the most common injuries in blind football, to the nose. The players do have gauzes over their eyes. Then they're what these circles are on a cross below the Spanish flag on your screen. That's a team foul. You're allowed 5 team fouls per half. Any more committed, and it will be an 8-metre penalty kick. Doesn't matter where the infringement took place, it will be an 8-metre penalty kick to the opposition. So Spain have 1 currently. They do get rescinded after half-time. Drop ball in the midfield area, and Kerin Seal does well, just gets his body between the opponent and the ball. He's going back towards his own half though. Across comes Williams to try and win it back for England. Pushes out wide on the right, but Munoz does well for Spain. One-man attack goes in towards the D on the right. That's going to run too far, and it's going to be an England goal kick. Again, there's an example of the goalkeeper saying to Roy Turnham, just shepherd it out, hold off the player, and the ball has got too much on and it run out for a goal kick. And he's just going to roll it out to his left. And English plays it downfield. It goes straight down the centre. Turnham was on the left and Williams was on the right. They quickly get back into their defensive units. Well drilled. All these blind football teams, especially the Spanish and the England team. Turnham down the left, over the halfway line, cuts inside now, past the broken line. The ball just gets stuck under his feet once again. Another common occurrence in blind football. If you're running at pace, you can slightly overrun the ball, or you can run too far and the ball gets left behind. Martin, twisting one way and another, gets to the broken line, tackled by the England defence. Seal brings it out for England on the halfway line. Now he goes down the left, beats Lopez, approaching the D, pushed off, and a chance for a right-footed shot into the back of the net. What a goal for England, and Karen Seal down the left-hand side. He avoided being pushed away by the Spanish defence and calmly slotted it home past the keeper into the right side netting. England double their lead early in the second half. It's England 2, Spain 0.
Just the goal England needed as well to settle the nerves, and well deserved for Karen Seal, who gets his second goal of these championships, and so unlike the Spanish defence as well, for not one but two of them to miss the ball as it goes through down the left-hand side, and Seal opens up his body, angles the right-footed shot towards the far corner, and Karen Seal, the big number 4 for England, gets their second of the game. England 2, Spain 0. And Spain have a little bit of a mountain to climb here. A lot of time to go in the second half, but they are up against it, and they need their big players to come to the fore. Spain immediately from the set piece, go down the other end, and a wonderful save by Dan James down to his left-hand side. Acosta there with a clear angle on goal in a central position, tried to curl it towards the far corner. He got past the whole England defence, may have been a hand on it on the way through from him as he fell down initially, got back to his feet again, curled it around to James's left-hand post, and a wonderful save with the left hand, takes a nick off the post as well, and out for a corner on the near side for Spain. 2 over it, one of them Acosta now, who will run in towards the front post. Good tackle by Turnham, really strong in the challenge there. Turnham goes to ground but gets up straight away, and Acosta, I don't know if he's been friendly with him there or pushing him away. It's hard to tell. It's Robin Williams now, midway inside his own defensive zone. On the far side, the England right gets caught in a bad position as well. Martin with it near the corner area. Williams has to be careful and watch his hands as Martin goes towards the front post, gets towards the byline. It's a tight angle. Still going Martin. Good save from James, who managed to stay inside his defensive zone as well, his goalie area. If he goes outside of it, it would have been a penalty. Ball down the left for English, gets towards the byline, checks back, he's got a man in his back which is Munoz, so the ball is forced towards halfway. Williams jumps out of the way of the ball inadvertently, thinking that it was a bouncy ball coming towards him, then a flat one. It then goes inside the England defensive zone on the 3 lines as right-hand side. Seal got the last touch on the ball, and it will go out for a Spain corner, and Spain have certainly been pressing ever since the second English goal. A substitution about to be made now, and leaving the field is Ivan Lopez, and he's replaced by his captain Yusuf El Hadawi, who started this game but hasn't really featured much ever since England went behind early on, and that change was made when, of course, he came off and Martin came on.
Yeah, El Hadawi possesses a rocket for a right foot. I'm surprised, along with Jonathan, that he's not been on the field for longer than he has. 2 amazing saves there by Dan James. The first one, the reactionary save onto the post. The second one, very brave and agile on the edge of his goalkeeping square. Shot from distance takes a deflection out wide to El Hadawi on the Spanish right. He's been pushed back into the centre circle by Roy Turnham, who continues to lead the counter-attack now for Turnham. Approaching the broken line, just gets pushed off the ball, falls to the ground on top of the ball, and inadvertently wins it back for England by the left-hand kickboard. Gets pushed into that kickboard. Heavy challenge there by Munoz. It's with Williams outside of the D, runs straight into Munoz, and the referee blows his whistle. He's yet to point into the direction of the free kick. It's for England, and it will be from a central position around 9 metres from goal. Really good play, first of all, by Roy Turnham. He chased that ball down, and he got to his feet after lying on the ball. He was pushed against the kickboard and then started that move, which Robin Williams ended up being fouled from 9 metres, central position. A cracking chance here for England to possibly seal their place in the final. The first time England will be through to a final since 2009, where they face France. And it could be France again, because they're in the other semi-final, taking on Russia, 7:30 local time here in Berlin. It's going to be a free kick to England now. 4 men in the Spanish wall. Goalkeeper Pedro Gutierrez. He's crouching down low. He's telling his defenders exactly where to stand and how to stand as well. Are they going to stand still? Are they going to break and try and close this down, this possible shot? It's going to be English to roll the ball for Robin Williams. Now the coach for England behind the goal taps the right-hand post. He's going to tap the left. He's given instructions as well to Williams exactly what to do. He's slightly, if anything, to the right of centre, only by a matter of inches. It's going to be Williams. Left foot hits the post and bounces wide. It's going to be a corner, so it hits the left-hand uprights, then bounce back, hit the goalkeeper, and then drops wide of the post. A lucky escape there from Spain. We'll see a replay here. Williams did everything right, moves the ball out to his feet, and then a left-footed effort, strikes the post, then strikes the back of the hand of the goalkeeper. It could have easily nestled back in the net, but it bounces wide, and that's unlucky for England. Fortunate for Spain. And will England rue that missed chance, or that unfortunate effort that hit the post? Corner to England. Williams, more central now, 8 metres from goal, being pushed out wide. Good tackle on him by Matan. It's up past the halfway line, but picked up by Turnan, who's now going to turn and run at pace at this Spanish defence. He's momentarily stopped by the Spanish captain El Hadawi, who does well. It's with Matan on the left. It's 9 versus 9. Matan and Turnan, now picked up by Acosta. They've got their 3 main attackers on the field: Acosta, Matan, and also El Hadawi. Acosta is brought down by Turnan twice, and at second attempt, the referee blows his whistle. Free kick to Spain just inside England territory. Here's a replay of that effort. Very unlucky, but then bounced back, hit his hand, and it could easily have dropped over the line, Jonathan.
Absolutely, and England would have been completely into the final, you'd have to say, if that one had nestled into the back of the net. But Spain live to fight for another 11.5 minutes in this one. They have a free kick just to the right of the centre circle, midway between the halfway line and the broken line, as England concede their first team foul of the second half. Martin goes on the outside of the first challenge towards the right corner of the area, slips underneath the ball, then still manages to keep possession. Into the area goes, shot comes in towards the near post, and it deflects wide for a Spain corner on the near side. And coming across will be Martin, who in fact will leave it for Acosta and Munoz, who come forwards now. Of course, they'll be listening to the instructions from not only the coach on the bench on the far side, Miguel Becerra, but also the guide behind the goal, who is Jose Catarala. So a corner for Spain in this near corner. Acosta squares it across the face. Good chance for El Hadawi. Jumps over the ball. Turnham falls into El Hadawi in an attempt to try and close him down. You have to say Turnham and the rest of the English players are wearing the heart on the sleeve at the moment. But Martin, oh, good aim towards the far corner of the net. James got down, left hands on it, and forced it out towards the left-hand side. English can set off a counter-attack for England now. Pass Acosta, past Martin, into the area. Heavy touch from English, and the goalkeeper can pick it up inside his goal area. Gutierrez throws it towards the left-hand side. Martin over halfway, clatters into Turnham, who didn't shout boy, and that will be a decision for the referee to make here. It's a yellow card for Roy Turnham. Not the first time that Antonio Martin has been part of a nasty collision in this game. It's a second yellow card of the tournament as well for Roy Turnham, but it doesn't mean he is suspended for a final, because of course the yellow cards are rescinded after the group stage. So a second team foul for England and a free kick for Spain on the left-hand side, just in from the kickboard and around 2 yards just short of the broken line. The Spaniards who were about to take this free kick were shouting at John Pugh there, I think, who was trying to just tell the England defenders where to be. Pugh's not happy with the referee. I think he thinks the ball's in the wrong position. It doesn't really matter. Martin cut into the right foot. Shot comes in again towards that far corner. And again, it's James down the left-hand side just to cushion the ball, this time behind. And for a Spain corner. But Spain now getting into the sort of rhythm and groove that they had in the first half, but yet to break down the England defence.
Yeah, good save there by Dan James, but he's such a good goalkeeper. He's going to be unhappy that they didn't manage to hold on to the ball, and it's gone out for a corner. He was shaking his head whilst telling the England defenders where to stand. Corner from the Spanish right, taken by Acosta, back to the broken line, goes back down the right, switches to the left again, and it's just been pushed out over by the England defence to the left. Finds El Hadawi, goes to ground, nothing given. Then has he brought down Roy Turnham? No. Turnham wins it back for England. Martin intercepts. Quite scrappy on the left for Spain at the moment. Martin trying to avoid the England number 6, Robin Williams. And England at the moment struggling to get it out of their own third. Williams now. Can he clear? No, he can't. Run straight into El Hadawi, who just puts his hand out and pushes the England number 6 away. That's a really difficult job. He's a very athletic player, is Robin Williams. It's with Spain on the left. Martin trying to get a bit of space. Now central position, past the broken line, going to the left, back to the right. Good close control, trying to dummy away from the England defenders, who are very quick into the attack. Looked like another collision of heads there between Al Hadawi and Keren Seal, who's been in the wars in this game. He pushes into Martin. The coaches on the Spanish bench not happy at all, but Voy was shouted by both players. Going to ground is Roy Turnham under a tough tackle from Acosta, and it's with Munoz inside his own half. Up to halfway, now plays it down the left. That's far too far forward for the Spanish number 9, and he'll roll through, and there's less than 10 minutes to go. England 2 goals up in this semi-final. Timeout called by England, so they'll go to the sidelines. They will have a minute to discuss tactics, take on water, and there is 9 minutes and 24 seconds before England, if it carries on this way, will be into the final of the IBSA Blind Football European Championships. Now is a great time to get your phones out and go onto Twitter and go to @Euro 2017 Berlin, and then you can follow us, you can see all the goals, the highlights, and also the latest scores as well. We've got a packed day tomorrow, 9th place, 7th place, and a massive game between Germany and Turkey for 5th. And you might think, well, why is finishing 5th so important? It means if you finish 5th in this tournament, you will be going to the World Cup next year in Spain. The top 4 in this tournament, including England and, of course, Spain there, already have booked their seats on the plane. Spain, of course, hosting, they automatically qualify, hence the reason 5th place goes through to the World Cup. And then on Saturday it's the 3rd place playoff, and then the final itself, and possibly including England. They're 2 goals up against Spain. Now you can see the 2 crosses below England and the 2 crosses below Spain on your live stream. Also hello to everyone out there watching the live stream, whether through Facebook, through YouTube. We are well above 1 million views for these Blind Football European Championships. Those 2 crosses mean that there have been 2 team fouls committed in the second half, and you're allowed 5. Any more than 5, and it will result in an 8-metre penalty kick. It doesn't matter where the infringement took place. It could be in the opposition corner, and then the ball gets taken all the way down for a penalty. So there's 10 minutes to go, just less. Looks like the timeout is over, and the 2 sets of players back on the field. Also, if it is a draw, then we don't have extra time. It goes straight to penalties, 3 penalties for each side. But Spain, well, they'll need to beat Dan James, who's been in exceptional form in this second half. And there's the location of us. We're right in the centre of Berlin. There's ruins of a huge train station, one of the biggest train stations at its time in Europe, and it's a fantastic amphitheatre for sport. There was an archery tournament before these Blind Football European Championships on this site. Goal kick taken by Dan James. Just rolls it outside his box for Robin Williams, who starts his run down the left, runs straight into Al Hadawi. Still with Williams. He's got possession of the ball back. He's inside the Spanish half on the left. He's reaching out for the kickboard. There's a kickboard at the side of the field, and you can see it's slightly arched away from the players, so it's a bit more of a cushion blow when they run into the kickboards or use it for leverage. Across the right for Keren Seal, but Martin gets there first for Spain. Spain have had plenty of possession in this second half, but they've still yet to score. Flip ball by Martin across to the right, controlled, a jump control by Al Hadawi, who's now wearing a headband. There's been so many collisions in this game. English is all over his back, and he does very well, Dan English, and forces Spain back into their own half. Still on their right-hand side, the other headband ward is by Acosta. He always wears that white headband. He goes to ground. Referee Francois Coquin says, get to your feet. And Spain have it back in their own third and start another wave of attack. Munoz goes long down the right. He can play it off the kickboard like you would do in a sports hall if you were playing five-a-side football. Al Hadawi switches to the left to try and find Martin. Comes off that kickboard and goes out for an English goal kick. And England won't mind that. In fact, it must have took a deflection on its way through, I must admit. I didn't quite see that it took a deflection, but there are 2 officials on the field of play, and they are the best officials in the world. And I do again say that it's something that the 11-a-side game could take note of, having two officials. One might not see it and the other one can and blows his whistle. I see no problem with that whatsoever. Munoz is there along with Matan. Matan's going to drive straight into the D, goes to ground, shouting in agony, and the referee is just going to hold play. He's not giving a free kick or anything like a penalty or nothing that way. He's just stopped play because of the cry of pain by Matan, the Spanish number 9. Antonio Matan with 5 goals in this tournament, and he's just called the trainers on. So I don't think he's given a free kick or anything like that. Looks like he might have just rolled onto his ankle or rolled his ankle. But the trainers are on, and with 8 minutes remaining, there's Dylan Malpass on the bench, the substitute England goalkeeper, who had an amazing game against Germany. It was a dead rubber really for England because they didn't have anything to play for. They were top of the group, but Germany needed a point, and in front of a massive crowd, England won by 3 goals to 0, and Dylan Malpass was exceptional in goal. But the England number 1 is Dan James, even though he's wearing 13, and he has been exceptional. A little bit of pressure probably on Dan James. He's an experienced player, but having Dylan Malpass play so well in the game before, there was a bit of pressure on you today to perform, and hasn't he? Absolutely exceptional between the sticks. And if you're watching a live stream, make sure at the final whistle that you stick with us, because I'll be heading down and trying to get an interview with a couple of players, and at the moment I'm thinking Dan James might be one of those, and I know exactly what he's going to say. He's going to be very, very diplomatic and say it's all about the team. Nice scenes here as English just goes over, Dan English to Matan, taps him on his shoulder, wishes him all the best, but it's a sad sight for Spanish fans because Matan is hobbling off with 2 trainers taking him off the field, and I'll be amazed if he's back on the field at any time. So there will be a substitute come on, and it is number 7, Sergio Alamar, and also a substitute for England as well, and it's Roy Turnham going off, the England number 9, replaced by Darren Harris.
Real shame that for Antonio Matan, who's must have suffered his 3rd collision of the game there, and the 3rd one is the knockout blow, and he will be receiving treatment on the far side from the physio Sergio Gomez and the team doctor as well, Maurizio Tejada. So it's going to be a drop ball. I think this will be a contested one purely because no one had clear possession of the ball when the game was stopped. So it's going to be on the right corner of the England box. El Adawi, who's got white bandaging around his head at the moment because of an injury he suffered on in the first half of this game. He competes with Seal. El Adawi wins it, but actually goes back towards the halfway line, then stops his run, tries to go back on the outside down the left channel towards the England area, gets towards the left side of the box and nudged back towards the goalkeeper there from English, goes into Dan James's hands, and with 2 hands he does an overhand throw towards the far side, the right. Here's Williams, laterally runs from right to left, then checks back to run towards the other side, just toying with the 3 red shirts in front of him, goes past one of them on the right hand side, tries to cut inside of Acosta, very difficult to get the ball through his legs however, and Acosta wins the ball back midway inside his own half. He's got 2 red shirts in front of him, he comes towards the halfway line, he's got Alamar to his right and El Adawi to his left, but Acosta going himself at the moment, worming his way through the white shirts. It deflects off Seal, who gets back on the edge of his own area, diverts it towards the far side, tries to recover the loose ball. El Adawi battles away with him, Seal gets it down the line and it's won now by Acosta. Acosta dribbles past a couple of white shirts, then goes to strike towards goal. The ball is won by England. Acosta is appealing for something, but I'm not sure what, because the ball was fairly won. Sergio Alamar coming in from the right hand side into a central position, back on the right again, toying with Darren Harris at the moment, still on number 7 keeping possession, goes on the outside, really good run, good tackle though from Sealer, gets a big right foot in there and diverts the ball out of play for a corner on the far side. It will be a Spain ball, but first they are going to call a time-out. So a big moment in this semi-final here with 6.5 minutes to go. Spain need to find some inspiration from somewhere. Their talisman, Antonio Matan, just being shown off the pitch and currently receiving treatment for that injury he suffered a few moments ago, but the Spanish team on the far side currently taking on some fluids and some words of advice as well from their coach Miguel Becerra.
Yeah, questions coming in using the hashtag The Sound of Football and following at Euro 2017 Berlin. One question coming through is, can you pass it back to the goalkeeper? Yes, you can, but the goalkeeper obviously then has to clear. And it's a tactic that is used because obviously the goalkeeper can tell players, look, you're facing me, pass it back. don't pass it back too hard, but then I can clear. Yeah, pass backs are allowed. But the goalkeeper will have to clear, obviously using his feet.
Another question we get as well, Pete, is why are the goalkeepers sighted? It's not fair, but some of the screamers we've seen flying towards the net this week, that goalkeepers that are sighted have absolutely had no chance to save, is exactly the proof why it is a fair system.
Exactly, these are the best players in Europe on show. Semi-finals of the IBSA Blind Football European Championship. We've seen some tremendous goals. We're going to have a goal of the tournament as well. And, well, we've had a bit of a discussion here in the commentary box already about who's in that final, say, 8 or 10. And there's some absolute corkers already. Corner to Spain. 6.5 minutes remain. England leading by 2-0. England 6.5 minutes away from getting through to the final for the first time since 2009, where they lost in France to France. They could face the French again. Shot by Acosta into the hands of the goalkeeper, Dan James. Falls to his right. Good goalkeeping again. Very safe hands between the sticks for England. Robin Williams on the left, inside his own half, gets his body between the ball and the number 7, who's Alamar, back on the edge of the England D, just cleared by Seal up to halfway, just trying to relieve a bit of pressure. And Spain, they'll be continuing to fly forward in the last 6.5 minutes. Remember, the time does stop every time the ball goes out of play or because of a foul or a substitution. So whilst the ball is in play, England will not be worried at all because the time is ticking. Alamar down the right, Harris for company, England's number 8. Alamar turns him on the edge of the D, back to the broken line, tries a shot, that would have been from distance and wouldn't have troubled the goalkeeper. Now he goes with his favourite right foot, down the right, shot again is wide, and this time it runs for a goal kick. And Dan James has plenty of options. He can either throw long downfield, it needs to bounce inside his own half, or he can just drop the ball outside of his D. He does that, finds English, side-footed ball downfield. England trying to keep the ball inside play, but at the moment they're passing it straight to the Spanish. And Acosta now with a glorious chance, just slightly overran the ball, and now again from the edge of the D. Can't get a shot off on goal, just loses possession of the ball. Push back to halfway. All 4 players back for England, who are outfield players. Acosta again miscontrols, goes to ground, and it's going to be a free kick to England because Acosta, for me, didn't shout voy and ran straight into Karen Seal, and it will be a free kick. So again, that's another example of players not shouting voy. You can have possession of the ball, you can run into a player, and you can fall to ground, but you can cause the foul, and a free kick can be given against you because you haven't shouted voy. A rough translation is I am here. And like Karen Seal there, he said voy, but he was ran into. And England will get the free kick.
The manager of Spain, I think, has been sent off. A second yellow card has been shown for Miguel Becerra, who will now have to take a seat in the stands, I believe. And this is a remarkable turn of events. The Spanish, of course, were warned in the first half by the referee, Francois Carcu, about how he had to make sure he kept calm. He then got booked. He carried on remonstrating in the second period, and now he will trudge off with water bottle in hand down the tunnel away to our left-hand side and will exit the field of play. So Spain have got a full complement on the field, but in terms of their bench, their manager has not been able to keep his discipline. And I was just about to say as well, when the free kick was given, Pete, that the second half has been a lot cleaner than the first. We saw a lot of team fouls in the first, not in the second. Acosta goes towards the edge of the penalty area, wins a free kick this time around. Seal trips him up as he was making his inroads in towards the penalty area, and the referee will give a 13 foul of the second half to England, so it's 3 apiece in that respect, and a set-piece opportunity for the Spanish here, just right of centre and around 9 metres away from goal. It's midway between the edge of the penalty area and the broken line as well. Standing over the ball, licking their lips, it's the captain, El Adawi, and just in front of him as Adolfo Acosta. And I have to say, if anyone's going to score for Spain, it is the big, powerful number 6. Both players stood over the ball, incidentally, have white, well, of course, Acosta has the usual sweatband around his head. El Adawi is joining that club as well with the white bandaging strapped around his head as well. It's a 4-man England wall with 2 Spaniards just on the side of it, trying to block the goalkeeper's view, Dan James. This is going to be a massive moment in the game. If England can ride this wave, then surely they are home and hosed. El Hadaoui will roll the ball forward. The referee blew his whistle, but then Seal ran forward before the kick was actually taken, and therefore we're going to have to go through the whole process again here of Dan James making sure his wall is in shape, and then the guard behind the goal for Spain, Jose Caratala, just tapping either side of the goal frame. So that now sounds one post to the other, and it will be El Hadaoui to roll it for Acosta. 8 metres out. Can Spain half the arrears? Eventually Acosta will take left foot into the bottom corner of the net. England concede a goal for the first time in these championships, and Spain managed to half the deficit and make a very nervy 5 minutes come onto the cards. Whoever is going to earn a place in the final are certainly going to have to deserve it. Acosta has made this semi-final very interesting indeed. England 2, Spain 1.
Yeah, not even the heroics of Dan James in goal for England, who's been exceptional, can do anything about that. A low left-footed drill shot into the corner, past the wall and past the England goalkeeper, means it's England 2. It went through the legs, actually, of England's number 4, Karen Seal. England 2, Spain 1, with just less than 5 minutes remaining. So England, who have been, I think, quite poor in the last 5 minutes, they've not managed to get outside of their half. They'll have to maybe go and score a third to try and seal this semi-final. It's with Williams inside the centre circle. Cracking tackle on him by the Spanish captain El Hadaoui on the left in front of the officials' tent. Gets the ball under control. Goes himself down the left-hand side. Away from Williams. Seal in front of him. Gets to the broken line. Comes across to the right. Stops. Puts his foot on the ball. Shoots from distance. Great save by Dan James with his right hand, just palms it away to the right-hand kickball. The ball still in play with El Hadaoui on the broken line. A pot shot from distance and another great save by the England goalkeeper, but they're living dangerously at the moment. 4.5 minutes remaining. English does well down the left-hand side. Can't get a shot off on goal. Just outruns the ball again. That comes off a Spanish leg, and it will be an England corner from the right. But another amazing save by Dan James from a shot by El Hadaoui, who, when he came on the field, I said he possesses a vicious right-footed shot, and he just proved it there once again. Cracking save by the keeper, and it's a corner to England, who are quite slow in coming forward to get the ball and to take this corner. Doesn't matter because the clock has been stopped, so there's no also time wasting in blind football. It's going to be Williams with the corner. Williams goes into the D. Runs into a wall of Spanish players, goes to ground, nothing given. The ball's just rolling outside of the D and now cleared by Spain. Downfield through Alamar, over his own broken line. Comes over to our near side, stops before the halfway line in the centre circle, gets past Williams, who shakes his head in disappointment. El Hadaoui from 10 metres over on the left, gets the ball under control, comes across to the centre. Again, you know, he possesses a good shot with his right foot, tries a swing with his left and misses the ball. It runs out, and there's 3 minutes and 47 seconds left. And England are 2-1 up in this semi-final. Long throw downfield by Dan James. Picks out Darren Harris on the broken line. Harris by the left goes to ground. Good tackle by Acosta. Acosta up over halfway. Harris is getting back for England, but Acosta goes past him. Chance for a shot, and again the ball just runs too far forward. And again out of play. Acosta goes down holding his face. So play is stopped, and a chance for England to gather their thoughts, and Spain, and also some attention to come onto the field and deal with Acosta, who is getting to his feet now. There's a substitution for Spain coming off is Alamar, and again Matan coming on, and well, a round of applause here for the number 9 Antonio Matan. 5 goals for Spain in these championships, and well, he went off the field being helped by 2 trainers, and I would have put good money on him not returning, but he's onto the field to try and get an equaliser for Spain. And remember, if it is a draw at full time, it will go straight to penalties. England through Robin Williams comes out of his own D. Now he's up towards the centre circle, going himself down the right-hand side. Williams, wearing 6, goes up to the broken line, goes to ground, nothing given. Again, both players shouting voy, and it's going to be a corner to England. So it came off a Spanish boot last. The Spanish bench not happy. Again, collisions do happen in blind football. If both players shout voy and they collide, well, these things happen in this sport. Nothing given, but the ball runs out for an England corner. And now just over 3 minutes remain. And across for that corner would be Williams and Harris. England with 2 players back inside their own half. English on the edge of his own D in conversation with the goalkeeper, Dan James. You've got Seal just outside of the centre circle. It's taken by Williams. El Hadaoui with him, trying to win the ball back for Spain, who need to get it down the other end of the field. Williams is doing well at the moment, just keeping it by the kickboard, but Spain struggling to get the ball back. Now Hadawi's trying to reverse into Williams. He's going to be doing no good trying to do that. And Williams just hooks it in play into the goalkeeper's hands, who releases downfield for Martin. Martin can't control, and that runs out, but it runs out for a corner to Spain. And more nervy moments for England fans, but for Spanish fans watching this broadcast, well, they'll be cheering at their screens wherever you are, watching on your phones, your computers, maybe your laptop, or even on your TV. Tell us where you're watching and who you're supporting. Hashtag the sound of football at Euro 2017 Berlin. The second semi-final coming up after this, and that's France versus Russia. England winning by 2-1 in this first semi-final, and there's only 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Spain with a corner. Acosta back to the broken line, moves more into a central position. Chance for a right-footed shot, edge of the D, connects more with Darren Harris, but it's on the left. Missed kick by El Hadawi. That would have been a glorious opportunity. He's more of a right-footed player, and it was a swing and a miss for the Spanish captain. Long throw out this time by Dan James down the left for England, again trying to pick up Harris, and Harris can't control, and it runs out for, again, another goal kick for Spain. Down the right by Gutierrez, controlled on halfway by Matan. He then switches to the left, goes by the kickboard, controls the ball, now starts his run past Karen Seal, just in front of the England bench, stops, tries to go back to the broken line, switch play over to the right-hand side, and El Hadawi doesn't reach him. It comes back, though, to Martin. The time is ticking, 2 minutes now left on the clock. English comes across to try and clear for England. He's got on his back El Hadawi, but English brings it up to halfway, stops. He's got his back to the goal he's shooting towards. He's now going to drift round, but El Hadawi does well trying to tackle English, who's much the bigger player. He goes down the right, up to the Spanish broken line, in front of that Spanish dugout, minus their coach who's been sent off. And English at the moment, he's having his own match. And well, if you're an England fan, that won't bother you at all, because the time is ticking. But for Spanish fans, they want Spain to get control of the ball. You can see the referee there, Francois Coquin, who's counting. If he gets to 5, then it will be a free kick, because the ball is just being trapped on the kickboard. Acosta does well for Spain, back in the centre circle. Now he's going to start his run. Just over a minute remains. Acosta going down the right-hand side, switches to a more central position. He's tackled by Darren Harris, who clears for England up to halfway.
El Hadawi tries to retrieve the ball on halfway, actually clashes into Munoz instead, but the captain wins possession, comes over halfway towards the left-hand side. Martin joins him as well. Spain have 2 players in the England half here. One of them is Martin. Forced back to halfway. England very rigid in their defensive zone at this moment in time. Martin tries to keep control as he goes down the left, loses possession. El Hadawi will go for a swinger instead from 8 metres out, just left of centre. He completely misses the ball, and now Williams at the other end. Can England kill this game off with 30 seconds to go? They are so close towards the final of this competition as Williams goes towards the corner, then checks back. England have everyone else inside their own half, and England actually win a free kick in the end on the edge of the attacking zone. El Hadawi flies over Williams there. I don't know if that was a kick out at Williams or accidental, but he gets a yellow card nonetheless, does the Spanish skipper. And it has to be said that Spain beginning to lose their cool here. Of course, their manager has already been sent off, has Miguel Bicara, and now their captain has been given a caution as well. So it'll be interesting to see a replay of this one. The free kick had already been given in Williams' advantage, and then El Hadawi just put up his left foot there into Williams before falling on top of him. It's difficult to say if that was a cynical clash or accidental, but nonetheless, England have a free kick right of centre, and it is Harris stood with Williams. So it's just over the attacking zone. And England here just moments away from sealing their spot in the final of this competition. Harris will lay the ball for Williams, who's got 2 options here, running into the corner or go for goal. Williams laterally running from right towards the left-hand side. He's got Spaniards chasing him all the way towards this near-side kickboard as the seconds count down. Williams back towards the halfway line. Good tackle from Munoz. Williams goes down, no free kick. The ball goes all the way back for English, who tries to poke it towards Dan James, but inadvertently sticks it into the back of his own net. The Spaniards go absolutely wild, and with 12 seconds to go in this game, England have conceded 2 goals in the final 5 minutes, and Dan English, the captain, has prodded the ball into his own net to give Spain new hope in this game. And with just 12 seconds left of the match now, it is England 2, Spain 2. As it stands, this game is going to penalties, and Dan English cannot believe his luck. Dylan Malpass, the goalkeeper, has his head on the kickboard there. He can't watch the remainder of this game. And Dan English must be wishing there was a hole in the ground to swallow him up at this moment in time. The game is back all square again, and Spain have somehow managed to rescue this right at the death. England attacking down the other end with Williams now. Surely time against him. He charges from the centre spot towards the penalty area, in towards goal, but it goes into the hands of Gutierrez as he charges into the goalkeeper's area. And we are just seconds away from the end of this game. The whistle will sound, and this will go to penalties. It has finished England 2, Spain 2 in the semi-final of the Blind Football European Championships 2017. A game with a vast amount of emotion involved in it. England getting off to the perfect start in the first half when Roy Turnham scored inside the first 60 seconds. Then in the second, England doubled their advantage and managed to secure a 2-goal buffer when Karen Seal hit the ball into the back of the net. Then the deficit was halved inside the final 5 minutes when Adolfo Acosta scored from a free kick. Dan James could do nothing about that, but then at the other end, with just seconds remaining, Daniel English was just shepherding the ball back to his own goalkeeper, Dan James, and then poked it into the bottom left corner of his own net. It means that we are all square. We are on the verge of penalties. It's England 2, Spain 2.
Well, that is amazing. If you're just joining us, I think most people were about to tune in to see England celebrating a victory here, and in the dying seconds of the second half, England have scored an own goal. They went 2 up in the early stages of this second half. Running across here is Jonathan Bell. At this point, we just thought it was all over.
Yeah, it certainly seemed that way. A fantastic finish from Karen Seal, and England were up against it at this point, certainly looking as if they were going to be pushed all the way by Spain. It was a very even contest. Spain probably had more of the possession and slightly more territorial advantage as well. So when England managed to double their advantage, it certainly seemed as if that the worst had gone behind them. However, of course, Adolfo Acosta was really a menace in the England side. He really changed the game when coming on in the second half, forcing a great save here out of Daniel James, and of course it was Acosta who halved the deficit with the goal from the free kick.
Well, that man there made some fantastic saves. Once again, Dan James has been a hero for England in this game, and he's going to have to be a big hero again. Jonathan is making his way back off to the commentary box because penalties are not far away. In a moment, we will see the goal that cost England the draw. Free kick here is how they get back into this. And, well, that was the first for Spain. And then moments before the final whistle came, it felt like England were trying to keep hold of the ball. Just one more look at the unfortunate Dan James missing it. Now the ball is just rolling towards goal. Nothing to worry about, but this is England. There is always something to worry about. Spain have a lifeline here. The players are ready on the pitch. The referees sorting this out. Who will take penalties? and we will go back to our commentary box momentarily. Pete Selby will stay down on the field. In the commentary box, it is Jonathan Bell, and I'm going to hand over to him right now for the outcome of this first semi-final. Will it be England or Spain? I thought we knew the answer 30 seconds before the whistle. Now we're no closer to knowing than we were before 2 20-minute halves. Jonathan Bell.
Thank you very much, Alan. It all comes down to this then. For a place in the final of the IBSA Blind Football European Championships, of course, it came to penalties 2 years ago in Hereford between these two sides in the third, fourth place playoff. This time around, the stakes are much, much higher, and England are going to take the first kick in this shootout as well. Dan English will be the man tasked to take this first spot kick then. It's 3 penalties for each team. After that, it goes to sudden death, so it is best of 3. Dan English first to the spot. The man with 5 goals to his name already for England in this tournament. His 6th, however, an own goal, which has taken us to this point. And in fact, he's just getting ready for this to be taken, as the Spaniards aren't yet ready on the halfway line. And now they're getting themselves to the knees. The officials just making sure that both sets of players are on halfway. And of course, for their coach, Miguel Becerra, he's not even allowed to watch this transpire. He'll be probably watching either in the stands or on the live stream if he can wire up somewhere in the tent. I'm not too sure how advanced the technology is back in the Spanish tent. Could be back in the hotel. Of course, sent off in the second half after many a warning from Francois Carcourt. In fact, you can just see him at the top left of the corner of the apex of crossbar and post there. So he is peeping along from the tunnel as Dan English steps up first for England against Gutierrez. English takes and he skies it over the crossbar, and it compounds what has been a dreadful past couple of minutes for the England captain. 1 down out of 3 for them, and it is missed by Dan English. So up next, Antonio Martin on the yellow card in this game. Of course, he was the man who managed to get Spain to this game in the first place after his equaliser from more or less this position last night against Turkey. Francois Coquet just checking the blindfold of Martin as he steps up to this now from 6 metres out, facing Dan James, who prior to this game had not conceded a goal. The guard behind the goal for Spain, Jose Caratala, doing just an important job, as Antonio Martin is about to do, really. He is the one who is letting Martin know exactly where the posts are. So Martin, with his right hand on the ball, his right foot behind it, is about to step up with the right foot, and he finds the back of the net. Advantage to Spain after round 1 of spot kicks. Up next for England will be Brandon Coleman, the number 7, the penalty specialist for England. However, he did miss 2 penalties against Germany just 24 hours ago. He strides up to the spot now from 6 metres out, and Francois Coquet just puts the ball down for him. So Pedro Gutierrez not conceding from the first kick, not even having to make a save as Dan English put it over the crossbar. What can Coleman muster in order to keep England in with a shout here? If he misses and Spain score, then it is game over and England are out. Coleman with the right foot, he hits the back of the net. It wasn't the cleanest connection from Coleman, but it was enough to go in Gutierrez's left-hand post and find the back of the net. So we are all square, and the pressure back now to Spain and their captain, Youssef El Hadaoui. He scored 2 in the game against Belgium. 2 great goals, it has to be said, in that one. This one, though, will just be from 6 metres if he finds the back of the net. And no kick of the ball will have been more important in his international career than this one. He stands with either foot either side of the ball at the moment, as the guard behind the goal once again, Jose Caratala, just taps the woodwork. Big pressure on Dan James's shoulders. He stands on the line for England and squats down. El Hadaoui now He's got the whistle, he shoots and he scores. A really good penalty from El Adawi, finds the bottom right corner of Dan James's net. And now Karen Seal must score. If he misses the Welshman, then England are out. Of course, Karen Seal, part of the Great Britain programme, which integrates both Wales, Scotland and England as part of the international team under the Three Lions name. So Seal, a Welshman to keep England in this competition, and his black trainers. He'll step up with the right foot against Pedro Gutierrez, knowing he has to score. The guard behind the goal now, belatedly Adam Bendel, just tapping the post either side. So Seal must hit the back of the net. Seal! Spain plays in the final of the Blind Football European Championships. Heartbreak for England on penalties. Of course, England were 4 minutes away from the final and 2-0 up before disaster struck after goals from Adolfo Acosta and an own goal from captain Daniel English. He was one of 2 England players to miss their spot kicks at the crucial moment at the end of this game. English put over the bar, Seal's shot was saved by Pedro Gutierrez, and it means at the end of this topsy-turvy semi-final, Spain will be back here on Saturday night with an opportunity to win yet another European title. It was Spain who won on penalties to secure 3rd place against England 2 years ago. Spain win on penalties against England this time around with a gateway to possibly writing their name onto the trophy. England are stood in a huddle in the centre circle, and John Pugh will be talking to them, no doubt saying how proud the England faithful are of their team in this tournament. They have battled firmly and hard in order to get to this point in the first place. However, they were not expecting to crash out quite like this. England out on penalties. We've heard it before, but not quite in this sort of scenario. Great performance from England, who before this game had not conceded a goal. They had thrashed every team in front of them. Spain certainly made it hard for them, but they needed the unfortuitous moment, as far as England are concerned, of Daniel English, who put the ball into his own net, and it means that at full time here in the semi-final, the first of the 2 semi-finals, it is Spain who progress. 2-2 after 40 minutes, 2-1 to Spain on penalties, and we are very soon going to go down to the man who has secured Spain's spot in the final. Pedro Gutierrez is on the pitch with our man, Pete Selby.
Spanish goalkeeper Pedro Gutierrez, your initial thoughts? Turkey scored a penalty yesterday past you, but you're the hero today. Your initial thoughts?
Pedro Gutiérrez, ayer tú mencionaste que el penal fue el tuyo, hoy tú lo tapaste. ¿Qué emociones después de este gol loco?
Bueno, loco el partido, lo primero, y felicitar a Inglaterra por la gran semifinal que ha dado a todo este público, y siempre es un placer jugar contra ellos. Bueno, esto es fútbol, es deporte, estás arriba, estás abajo. Lo importante es que siempre tienes que estar ahí con la cabeza metida en el partido y nunca bajar los brazos, y felicitar a Inglaterra.
Yeah, first all respect to England's squad. Football is going up and down and crazy things happen, and in the end we have been the one to decide this. Crazy.
Have you ever been in a game with a more dramatic finish in normal time than that?
¿Habías en un partido como este, como un final tan emocionante como ese?
Sí. Bueno,
Oh, well, that all crept up on everybody, didn't it? The Spanish team deciding that they want to have a party on the pitch. Jonathan Bell, one of our commentators alongside me, utter madness in a game of blind football. Spanish coach being sent from the field, England conceding their first and then a calamitous second goal in the competition and being taken to penalties, and then England taking penalties like sometimes only England can. Let's take a look at the last few moments of this game here on the screen right now. That is a belter. It puts Spain in the driving position, and this one puts England out of the IBSA Blind Football European Championships. A very quick word from you, Jonathan. You've just called the action on that. Really quick word. Gutting for England, but Spain, they're battlers.
Quite stunning in all respects of the word. Spain was certainly not expecting that, as hard as they tried with 30 seconds to go. They were handed the penalty shootout opportunity on a plate by Dan English, and my heart goes out to him because he has put his heart on his sleeve all the way through these championships, and then he just thought he could just knock the ball back to Dan James. Of course, they were completely on the wrong wavelength, and it was into the back of the net. And he must have thought that he wanted the ground to swallow him up at that moment in time. Then he steps up for the penalty to try and retrieve the situation and puts it over the crossbar. Horrible way for England to go out, but Spain were the better team over the 40 minutes. They just shaded it, and they had more territorial advantage. They had more corners, more shots, and on the balance of play, it's the harshest way for England to go out. But Spain, they've done it.
Well, there's no rain, but Spain have given us pain as England make their way out of the tournament. Let's see what else is coming up today. France take on Russia for a place in the final against a very, very competitive Spanish team. From all of us here at the IBSA Blind Football European Championships 2017, we'll catch you in a little while.
It's like Cook against me, I think. The referee moved me away. I wanted to discuss way of the game, but for the next games I wanted to know if it's okay or not. Okay. So I have to do 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, for the area. The problem, we have a camera man in there as well. So if you have a camera and a photographer, sometimes it becomes too big.